All right, so the two batters out in the middle would be, it looks like Natasha McLean, who will be taking strike, and the bowler for the Windwards looks like, is it Etienne? We'll confirm that for you in a moment. Etienne will start from the far end, bowling with a slip on the third man. There's a gully backward point cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a square leg on the boundary. That's pulled away by Natasha McLean right away in an aggressive mood as she always is in, and gets a single out to the mid-wicket boundary. So she gets off the mark, first delivery. It's one without loss. And Natasha McLean, this is T20 cricket, John. She's expected to go guns a-blazing right away.
Definitely. Nice short delivery for the batsman to get going, and she will not miss out on that. She's an international player, and she had a few games here at the National Stadium at Providence before, so she knows exactly how the pitch will play. Good start.
So the 30-year-old Jodian Morgan comes in to strike, number 10 on her back, and she settles. So two big hitting Jamaicans out there. Let's watch Etienne. Comes up, she bowls. That's a ball that kept slow. What has happened there? That bounces out into the leg side. She was cramped for room. That hustled onto her from the off stump, and the ball bounces away into the leg side. Good delivery. That kept a bit low. Hustled onto her.
Well, it's the third match of today, so we can expect some of that as well. The pitch, it's very dry in Guyana, so you can expect some two-pace deliveries here tonight.
So basically the same teams that would have played in the 50-over competition, just maybe a change or two. Is a ball that is Yorker length delivery on the off stump as she comes forward and eases it out in the offside, and there is no run. Jamaica playing Stephanie Taylor, of course, Nation, Natasha McLean, Morgan. There is Vanessa Watts, Chanel Henry, Jerona Walcott, Corrine Howell, Rashada Williams, Carla Cohen, and Tamika Sanford. They've left out Kanisha Ferron, Anisha Ann Waysam, and Bukal, Alicia Bukal. That's pushed away into the offside for the field at cover to come in to pick up. That's Akira Peters, and there is no run. The Windwards, they actually would have brought in a young lady, Zaida James, in place of Aria Fortune, but she's not in the final 11 for this game. She's out along with Cordell Jack and Stacey Ann Adams. They're the ladies that are out for the Windwards. Afi Fletcher, captain in the side. That's driven. Nice shot. Down through mid-off, 4 runs. First boundary. Remember, this is T20 cricket, and you're going to expect some good shots by these batters, whether they go over the top or they go all along the ground. John Ramsing, that was a beautiful shot along the ground for 4.
That's a wonderful shot indeed to get things going for Jodie and Morgan. She's off the mark. A juicy half volley, and she just latched onto it and drove it powerfully down towards mid-off. Of course, the fielder in the circle had no chance. That's a nice way to get off the mark. Nice feeling as well when you get off the mark with a boundary. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I predict, Matthew.
Right, and the fact that Jamaica won the toss and elected to bat says how they're thinking. They want to get a big total on the tins and put the Windwards under a lot of pressure. Here is Etienne, comes up, bowls to the batter that's outside the line of the off stump, and taken by the keeper, and there is no run. Jodie and Morgan, the 30-year-old, and of course Natasha McLean, who's got a lot of experience. She is the 24-year-old. She does wicket-keeping duties as well for Jamaica. The over comes to an end. It's 5 without loss, 4-2. That's Morgan, and 1 to Natasha McLean.
Yeah, a good positive start. Just having a measure of the track, and I'm sure they'll be thinking that the 2 games were played on it already, and it still looks very hard, but they still wanted to be very watchful, the openers. But they're both off the mark, and they'll be looking to continue along that vein in terms of scoring heavily for the defending champions, who would like to open their campaign with a win to join Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, who already secured some points for winning earlier. And we know those are the 3 teams that pretty much are in form, and if they can continue to do very well, Jamaica, they can actually look to defend their title.
So Akira Peters will bowl from the northern end of the ground, the Grenadian, the 35-year-old. So she's been around a little while as well. And she'll be bowling to Natasha McLean. John, Jamaica ending 3rd in the 50-over contest. They obviously would have wanted to do better. Coach Cleon Smith and manager Pauline White-Anderson would have wanted them to maybe just get in that second position, but they just didn't manage to do so. Maybe the bowling would have let them down a bit in that 50-over contest, but now it's T20 cricket, and they've got a bit more talent here in terms of how they will approach. Here is Peters, full length delivery driven, beautiful shot, but there's a field out there on the boundary, planted for that shot. But that was lovely to watch. Natasha McLean, that's a good flowing cover drive, John. She gets a single, she's gone up to 2, it's 6 without loss.
Yeah, nice shot again, good control. I'm not trying to hit it too hard. She just got enough on it. Timing was perfect, and it went all along the carpet. And the field at cover, she did very well as well. Planted perfectly.
Right, so one extra as well. That was a no ball signaled by the umpire. And that's looks like Kelman Kaulasar at this end. And the big man, Joseph, he's at square leg. Peters back to her mark. Let's go through that field for you. Slip. There is a short third man inside the circle, backward point. And there's a cover on the boundary. Flashing shot outside the off stump taken by the keeper. That's 13, and there is no run. So you've got what? That looks like a very short backward point, and then there is a point inside the 30-yard circle. It's covering the boundary. And then you've got mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a square leg. Well, more of a forward square on the boundary. That's the Windwards. A field inside. Afi Fletcher, the Grenadian captain in this side, age 32. Here is Peters comes up, bowls. That's a flashing shot again outside the off stump. A bit too wide again. To play that forcing shot taken by the keeper, and again no chance of a run. 7 without loss, 1 extra via a no ball. So 2 to McLean and 4 to that's Morgan. So Morgan is opening, Jody and Morgan with that's McLean and John. These two ladies look like they're gonna go after this bowling seriously. 7 without loss. Peters just missing her run and will now begin to move away from the commentary box, and she's up there, bowls, and that's flashed nicely down to backward point, 4 runs. Down through point to the left of point, and that's the shot that Morgan was looking for indeed. And she got it nicely placed as she moves on to 8, the total up to 11 without loss.
There's a nice grass cover in the middle of the pitch really, and that holding the pitch together. And of course, once you land in good areas there, the ball will bounce and will seam a bit. What happened there for Peters, the ball was too short. So Jodianne Morgan was quick into position, and she cut hard. She is trying to hit the ball very hard, whereas McLean, who has faced just a few deliveries, was timing it very nice. And Morgan, because of course she's a big girl as well, is trying to hit it a bit too hard. If she can just put some more timing into it, we can see she's scoring heavily here tonight. But so far, her 2 boundaries have been well hit, putting a lot of muscles into it.
And Barbados would have scored 206 for 6 in the very first game. So Jamaica obviously looking for a big 200 plus against the Windwards. You tend to believe, of course, the Windwards and Leewards are weaker sides, of course, in terms of batting. Here is Peters comes up, bowls. That's pitched up outside the off stump. Good delivery. That one came back into Morgan and taken by the keeper. Nice bit of work by Turton, moving away to her left. And the score is kept on 11 without loss. That was a bit quicker, John. Good bowling by Peters.
Much fuller, of course, and directed, trying to hit the stump. Peters, it was too good for even the batsman that went between the batter and the wicket, and she was almost bowled. That's the type of deliveries Peters will be looking to get more often than not.
It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze at Providence. Under the lights, here is a ball that forces her onto the back foot, kept a bit low on the off stump. And Jody and Morgan had to come down quickly on that, place it into the onside, and there is no run. Dotting got 63, a match was 45 for Barbados. Lee was 107 for 5 in their 20 overs. And then Trinidad beat Guyana. Guyana got up to 157 for 4. Campbell, well played, 77, and Tremaine Smart, 22. Trinidad and Tobago reply 161 for 5, 18.1 overs. Brittany Cooper, 52 not out. Here was a ball that strikes her on the pad, just coming across the stumps and taken on the pad, bouncing into the leg side. The over comes to an end, so she's done well at the end of the over there. 11 without loss, John Ramsing, 8 to Morgan, and 2 to Natasha McLean. It's a good time to remind you that you're listening to Cricket West Indies, Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
The no ball to start the over, and then a boundary. Well, other than that, Peters was very much spot on, and that is what she will need to do, both full and straight. This is T20 cricket. Once you're loose a little bit, given any room, the batsman will try to take advantage, and that's what happened when she was hit for that boundary. But other than that, Peters was very tight, and it's going to be interesting battle once she can settle in on a nice line Only 4 overs is maximum per bowler, but I think the way she has started, she should be looking to bowl 4 maybe on trot.
Here is Etienne comes up, bowls to, that's Peters, in fact, that's Natasha McLean, who gets a white ball outside the off stump, called wide by umpire Bernard Joseph, the Antiguan, with a little bit of experience on this belt in first class cricket. And of course, now we're looking at the ladies cricket in the Caribbean, and a lot of cricket will be played, a lot of money being pumped into women's cricket now. Let's watch Etienne. Comes up, bowls to McLean. McLean is pulling that nice shot in the air. Will the catch be taken? Oh, it's dropped down at mid-wicket on the boundary. Would you believe it? That was a dolly, and it went into both hands, and it popped out. The number 4 fielder for you, Karina Noel from Grenada, the 24-year-old, dropping that catch. And John, what a chance went to beg, and you don't drop Natasha McLean at all.
No, McLean is a dangerous campaigner, and she actually gave the Windward Islands a gift there on this night, this Thursday night. It went high into the sky, but Noel settled nicely. She got into the perfect position. She was not flustered at all. She did everything well. She got both hands to it, and then it just popped out.
Oh, well, that's a chance went to beg, and the Windwards don't want this to happen. There's a flashing shot by McLean outside the off stump, taken by the keeper, and there is no run. She's gone on to what? 3. 12 the scoreboard says without loss. 8 to Morgan. So just that wide, that no ball so far, the extra. But you really can't afford in T20 cricket to drop catches, especially to valuable players for the different teams. Look at Natasha McLean, a lot of experience under her belt. And, you know, she's already played a number of one-days with the West Indies. She's played, 23 T20 matches with the West Indies. So you don't want to drop her at all. Here is Etienne, comes up, bowls to that's Morgan. Morgan on drive. Nice shot down towards long on. That's one of the 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle for the first 6 over in terms of the power play. So fielder was at long off and long on. She gets a single, Morgan. She moves on to 9, the total up to 13 without loss.
Yes, another full delivery, this time after that chance going down. And Fuller to Morgan on this occasion. Morgan trying to get on with things and going down the ground for a single.
McLean comes in to strike. Etienne comes up, bowls full length delivery. She took it on the full toss, but she couldn't put it away. She hammered it into the ground, and then it bounced away up towards mid-off, and there is no run. But really, that one, she didn't get the timing well, Natasha McLean, but that was a gift. She could have put that away, but really didn't managed to do so. She's kept on 3, 9 to Morgan, 13 without loss. Remember, Jamaica won the toss and elected to bat here in the 3rd match. That's pulled away down the leg side, missed the shot, taken by the keeper. White call by umpire Bernard Joseph. 1 more to the total is gone up to 14 without loss. And John, the thing about T20 cricket, you've got to have all 3 components of the game clicking in nicely, batting, bowling, and fielding. So the Windwards will have some work to do here against Jamaica.
It's said that the team that makes the fewer mistakes will tend to go on to win. And when you bowl extras, when you bowl no balls and wides and so on, those are mistakes.
Short third man, gully. That's lifted in the air. That's going to come away over the gully area, heading out towards the boundary. It will get there, and that's 4, even though 2 fielders give chase. So that was a kind of a shot. She flashed it. It got the outside edge, and it flew just over the gully area down to the boundary for 4. So living a little bit dangerous, but that's T20 cricket for you. Natasha McLean moves up now to 7? The scoreboard should read 7. She's gone up to its 19 without loss.
Yeah, it was a bit wide outside the off stump, and she went hard at it. Got a thick outside edge. The fielders, of course, they're close in, and as a result of that, they had no chance really of going for that catch. It went over their heads, and they chased very well, but was not good enough. They came second in that run chase.
I'm looking at, yes.
Good,
go ahead, John.
good boundary for Jamaica as they continue to lay a foundation here.
Certainly, with the fielders inside the 30-yard circle on the offside, short third man, there's a short backward point cover, gully, short backward point cover, extra cover in the mid-off. That's flicked away, nice shot, down back with a square, runs here for McLean, 4 runs. So she's going to pick them off beautifully, and if you're going to bowl down the leg side to her and she picks you up, but she's going to pick up 4 because the field outside the 30-yard circle was at mid-wicket on the boundary. She gets another boundary. She's gone up to 11 now, John. 23 without loss. 3 overs have been completed, and 11 to McLean, 9 to Morgan. So she's gone past Morgan. You're listening to Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
A very productive over for Jamaica. 12 runs coming from over number 3. And as a result of that, they've quickly gone to 23 without loss. Both batters cashing in. That back-to-back boundaries for McLean suggests that she's actually in good nick. One outside the off stump, take outside edge, and the next one a flick. All in control as well. And she's looking to lay a foundation and go for a big one here today. And we already seen quite a number of runs being scored, some individual half centuries as well. So runs here at Providence once you can apply yourself.
So Peter starts, comes up, bowls to Morgan. Morgan gets the ball that nips onto her, jumps and nips onto her, and she had to take the bottom hand away quickly as the ball bounces into the offside. Good delivery, John. No chance of a run, 23 without loss.
Good extra bounce, perhaps hitting the seam in that grassy area that I'm speaking about. And it bunks up extra on Jodianne Morgan. She handled it very well, trying to get not the bat in the way, but she actually dropped the bat and got her body in the way.
A few spectators in the green stand. I understand they've been here since from the second game. That's lifted over mid-on, 4 runs. Over the captain, Afi Fletcher, and no chance whatsoever. You've got to do that when, some 7 fielders are inside the circle with, of course, the bowler and the wicketkeeper with 2 outside. And you're going to pick up boundaries easily if you're going to hit like that. The score has gone up to 27. Morgan has gone on to 13, John.
Yeah, quite deliberately going over the infield. A ball that was pitched up as well, so it was there for the asking, and she actually got into position quickly, Morgan. I said she's trying to hit the ball hard, and she's actually getting it in good areas in that bat. And once she connects, it's going to clear the infield. And of course, once it gets over the head of those fielders, it will run away on this very fast outfield at Providence.
Right, 3 matches tomorrow as well. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Peters comes up, bowls to Morgan. Morgan is lifting that in the air. It flew off the outside edge down towards white third man. They've crossed the 1. There's a field out there on the boundary. She sends a nice return back to 13. So 1 more to Morgan. She's gone on to 14, 28 now without loss. So tomorrow's matches, Guyana versus the Leewards, the first game at 9. Then Trinidad versus the Windwards. That's the 2 p.m. game. And then a big game, Barbados versus Jamaica at 7 p.m. And that match will be on YouTube, live streaming, ball-by-ball commentary for you in the 7 p.m. game. Interesting battle between Barbados and Jamaica. So Jamaica getting some practice here. First of all, batting. Here as Peters comes up. That's a flashing shot. But again, the fielder is out there, of course, at cover for that shot. And Natasha McLean gets a single. She's gone on to 12. It's 29 without loss.
That's another.
Both batters are playing lovely shots.
Yes, they're getting into their groove nice, and they're actually getting it. They're reading the pitch very nicely as well. Not a lot of devils in the pitch, but that's another short delivery from Peters. When she pitches the deliveries up, it seems to be a much better bowler, and even the pitch assisting her well when she pitches up.
Right, so some of the teams that batted today, Lee was 107, Guyana 157. Obviously, they'll want to get much more. This is T20 cricket. To really make a fight of it, you've got to put the runs on the tins. There's a ball on the leg stump that's worked away to mid-wicket by Morgan, and there is no run. 29 without loss. So hello to everyone across the region, across the world. You're following ladies, Cricket West Indies, T20 Blaze cricket now. So we've shifted from the 50 over to the T20, and today has been a good day for cricket thus far, with Barbados and Trinidad coming up with victories. Here as Peters comes up, bowls to Morgan, that's wide down the leg side. Wide called by umpire Kaulisar. 1 more to the total. It's gone up now to 30. 30 without loss in over number 4. 4 extras the board should read now. And John, again, the line, you don't want to stray offline at all. You've got to be a bit more consistent with that ball in your hand. And Akira Peters just guilty of going down the leg side.
And if they're not very careful, the Windward Islands, they can be bowling more than 20 overs with the amount of balls they may have to bowl again.
Peters tries once more, full-length delivery. That's driven nicely down towards extra cover, where the fielder planted there for that shot is Rachel Francis from Grenada, and there is no run. The over comes to an end, 30 without loss. Natasha McLean is on 12, 14 to Morgan. And Jamaica winning the toss and electing to bat here in the 3rd match on the floodlights here at Providence in the Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze tournament. They're 30 without loss.
Yes, good going once again, but some poor deliveries served up by Peters and earlier Etienne, but once they can actually land in some good areas, pitch up the balls, it will mean now that they'll put some pressure on the batsmen who seem to be having it their way so far, McLean and Morgan, adding 30 in very quick time. And so far, the Windward Islands, they've sent down 4 extra deliveries really, 3 wides and a no ball. All will have to bowl again. So the more they send down that way, it means the more overs or the more deliveries will be available to Jamaica. And if they're not very careful, Jamaica will take advantage of those and make it count. And so far, they're doing it.
So they're going at what, 7.5 per over? If I make that correct, 7.5. So the captain will come in to bowl now. Right hand leg breaks. Afi Fletcher, a 32-year-old from Grenada. She's bowling from the far end. Comes up. She's in bowls to McLean. McLean is edging that. She was looking to cut and it got an edge. In fact, let's wait for a signal from the umpire. He signals by. She was looking to edge, missed the shot, or flash it through the offside. It was too wide and missed the keeper as well. And that came down to the boundary for 4 byes. So that'll be extras that Jamaica will welcome. They've gone up to 34 without loss. Wide delivery, John.
Yeah, just much too wide really, but not too wide enough for the umpire to call it a wide. McLean looking to play the dab shot really. Missed it. Also the keeper missed it and it went down to the boundary. Spin is not a bad option at all. The pitch is a bit slow.
Here is Fletcher, comes up, bowls on the middle stump. She's forward, wrapped in the pad. Must have been bat and pad on that occasion. Not out, says umpire Bernard Joseph, 34 without loss. But Afi Fletcher, very experienced cricketer. She's played for the West Indies as well. The leg spinner, played in the recent T20 World Cup. And certainly one of the key players for the Windward Islands. She comes in now, bowling right-hand leg breaks over the wicket. And Natasha McLean is forward and punches it down towards mid-off for no run. She's kept on 12, 14 to, that's Jodie and Morgan, 34 without loss in over number 5. Inderjeet Prasad at the end of this over will take up the commentary for you. So again, trust that you're enjoying the cricket. Let's watch Fletcher comes. That's short of a length. That's pulled, flat pull in straight down towards long on for the fielder to come around to pick up. One of the fielders outside the 30-yard circle. The other one is at mid-wicket on the boundary. She gets a single, McLean. She's gone up to 13 now. It's 35 without loss. Jodie and that's Morgan comes in to strike. She's on 14. They both look good so far. They've given Jamaica a nice little start here after 4 overs. We're in the 5th over. And Fletcher, the captain, wants to do some damage. She wants to get some wickets for the Windwards. She bowls, giving Samir. That's a nice shot, but driven down towards extra cover. The fielder comes around nicely to her left to pick up. And there is no run, sending the return back to Fletcher, 35 without loss. So we told you about tomorrow's matches. Pretty interesting as you look at the Jamaica-Barbados clash. Here is a ball that brings Morgan forward defensive. And she plays down on the offside of the pitch. The over comes to an end. That's not a bad over from Fletcher, her first. 35 without loss, 13 to McLean, 14 to Morgan with some 8 extras on the board. 5 overs gone, 35 without loss. It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze from Providence. More from John, then it will be Inderjeet.
Yeah, nice start from Fletcher. The first delivery, the bat beat the keeper as well and went for 4 byes. After that, just a single was given away. I think once Fletcher and the spinners from the Windward Island side can actually find a good line and length on this dry track, they can become really good assets for the Windward Islands against Jamaica. Jamaicans are trying to play the shots as the ball is coming on. And with Peters and before that, Etienne bowling, that's what they like. As we say, good evening to Inderjeet.
Good evening to you, John. Good evening to listeners. And we're watching a key repeater. She's about to start over number 6 from the northern end. She comes up and bowls to McLean. She's flashing at 1 outside the line of the off stump. A wide signal by the umpire. It's now on to 36 without loss. And this is the final over of the 6 overs, a power play. And certainly they haven't lost a wicket yet, so it's a sound start by the Jamaicans. The Windward Islands, give them credit because winning the toss, you're expecting to make full use of this first 6 overs. That has not been the case. So the Windwards, they have done well too. Here is Peters. She comes in and bowls to McLean, and she is driving down towards extra cover. Once again, there is no run. Competitive battle so far, John.
Well, the Jamaicans are definitely in front, but I see the intent from the Windward Islands. They're not going to be here. It's the start of a new competition, really, despite the T50 was finishing just a few days earlier, right here in Guyana as well. It's a new competition, so the mindset is going to be different. And once they can get off to a good start, they will definitely be competitive. And I think that's what we're seeing, competitive cricket so far.
Yes, certainly. Here is Peters to McLean. McLean was looking to go through mid-wicket, got it high up on the bat, and it comes away down towards short mid-wicket. She was certainly looking for the boundary, and was a good delivery in the circumstances by Peters. There is a backward point. We have a short third man, cover, extra cover, and a wide mid-off. Here is Peters. She comes in, bowls to McLean. She's driving back up the track. This is good bowling and good fielding too by Peters. She has kept it very quiet so far. Just 1 run scored in this over. In fact, Jamaica's best over would have been over number 3 when they spanked 12 runs. But since then, they've managed to pull it back here, the Windward Islands. Over number 4 was worth 7. As we watch this delivery from Peters, and it's a big drive outside the line of the off stump and outfoxing McLean once again. This is excellent bowling.
Dot balls will create pressure. The Jamaicans, they were off to a quick start, and because of the little bit, let's call it a setback with a number of dot balls that were sent down recently. It started the over before when Fletcher came on. They're beginning to feel a bit of pressure.
Here is Peters. This is pitched up and driven away down towards wide mid-off. They come through for a very quick single. The return comes in. McLean, she gets another run. She will now move on to 15, and this will take Jamaica on to 37 without loss. We're in over number 6. Jamaica winning the toss and decided they're going to have a bat first. A nice little sprinkling of spectators staying on to watch this night cricket. That's the Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze. As we watch Peters once again, well, she aborts the run and will have to go back to the top of the mark, and she'll be bowling to the right-handed Jodian Morgan. We see some big drives, some misses from her as well. She has not been able to middle most of those big shots she attempted. Here is Peters once again, passes the umpire, comes up and bowls to Morgan. This is short. She lays on the back foot and cuts it away down towards square cover. There is no run. The end of a very good over by Akira Peters. 6 have gone. Morgan is on 14. McLean on 14, says the scoreboard as well. It's 37 without loss. This is CWI Women's T20 Blaze.
The Windward Islands pulling things back a bit. Earlier, at the start of the innings, the Jamaicans were going over 7 runs and over, but now they've brought it back just over 6 and over. 37 after the power play. Not a bad start at all for Jamaica. They did the right thing, score when the field restriction was on by going over the top. Fletcher brought herself on in over number 5, and she actually kept things quiet. And after that, just a wide and a single in the 6th over. And we see now the pressure's back on Jamaica to score again.
Here is the right-handed leg spinner. That's Fletcher tossing one up to McLean, and she's stroking this. Brings long on from the boundary into play. Can't prevent the single. McLean gets another run. She now moves on to 15. It's now on to 38 without loss in over number 7. Just a solitary slip. There's a backward point, cover on the boundary, and extra cover. This is a quicker delivery outside the line of the off stump. And here is Morgan looking for the expansive square cut. Once again, deceived by the leg spinner. It went away into the gloves of the keeper. 13. And there is no run. Long off, long on the boundary. So too is the forward square. Here is Fletcher, tossed up to Morgan. She's driving away down towards long off. In fact, a no ball signal by the umpire. So 2 more will be added to the score. That will take it now on to 40 without loss. And that's going to have the first free hit, the second free hit of the match. And it's always good to see the free hit. The batsmen will fancy their chances here. Let's see how McLean will handle this one. I guess she's going to throw everything on it. Here is Afi Fletcher once again. Comes up also McLean, short and a big swing outside the line of the off stump, and it kept low too as it went by into the gloves of the keeper.
Seemed to be a little bit of an inside edge to the keeper as well, and the keeper actually was out celebrating, but of course it's a free hit. You cannot be out. But good quicker delivery from from Fletcher. Well pitched up, and McLean trying to go for the big shot and not getting anything but an inside edge to the keeper, and she survives because it was a free hit.
Yes, here is Afi Fletcher once again. Tosses the ball from hand to hand, comes in and bowls to McLean, and this is a wide. That's a badly lined delivery way down the leg side, and lots of extras has been given away so far. John, you can pick up the amount of extras.
11 so far. Of those 11, 7 wides and no balls.
They have to be very careful, the Windward Islands, and this is a drive by McLean, and the fielder coming around from extra cover, trying to do a little bit of a football, make a mess of it. The ball runs away down towards wide long off, and they get the single. McLean with the single will now move on to 16, and that will take the score on to 42 without loss. So the partnership continues to be built. No recklessness so far. They haven't lost a wicket. Fletcher tossing this one up to Morgan, and another wide down the leg side, and they will go through, changes end. So 2 more wides to the total. It's 44 without loss, and extras continue to leak. And earlier, John, you did mention they have to be careful with these wides because they might end up bowling more than that 20. In this case, they're going to go definitely to 21.
Already they have to bowl back 8 deliveries.
This is a delivery tossed up, and that's beautifully bowled by Afi Fletcher. Some drift in the air too for the leg spinner there, and there was McLean looking to drive. She checks the shot, plays it out into the offside field, and there is no run. Fletcher comes in once again and bowls. This is a short delivery, kept a little bit low. She jumps on the back foot, McLean, plays it down towards extra cover, and she gets a single. With that single, McLean will now move on to 16. It's on to 45 without loss. The over has been completed. 7 gone. 15 is Morgan, and McLean, she's on to 17. 45 without loss. CWI Women's T20 Blaze, live from the National Stadium.
8 runs came from that over, and she sent down 9 deliveries, of which 6 were legal, of course, 2 wides and no balls. So that is a very ordinary over from the international player Afi Fletcher. We know that she's a much better player than that. Maybe trying a bit too hard here at Providence. It's a relatively hard ball. This is over number 7 just completed. So she's not going to get a lot of purchase from this track and that hard ball as well. So she got to be very, very stingy. And I think the way you can actually keep the Jamaicans intact is to bowl full and straight.
So Swaleen Williams has been introduced into the attack after 7 overs, 45 without loss. Jamaica winning the toss and batting against the Windward Islands team here today. We saw 2 nice T20 match earlier on. Barbados getting a victory against the Leeward, and Trinidad and Tobago defeating Guyana. This is the 3rd match on day number 1. That's the opening round of the T20 Blaze. And here is Swaleen Williams. She comes up and bowls. This is a short delivery to McLean, pulled away and floored down at short mid-wicket into the right hand, and the ball went away. So another chance has gone a begging here. 2 chances so far, and certainly they will want to take all their chances. As I say, good evening to Clyde.
Good evening to you in the Jeet, and good evening to listeners wherever you are.
This is short, outside the line of the off stump. A lifting delivery. It goes by into the gloves of the keeper. Juliana Nero just flooring a catch.
Yeah, it was a short ball. It was pulled with a lot of power as well. I think Nero might be one of the only fielders on the field that would have actually gotten a hand to that. She jumped in the air, got a hand to it, and couldn't hold on to it. I think she would have saved 4 runs for her team.
Yes, she had to leap in the air, and she went up a long way, couldn't hold it, and yes, it was hit pretty hard. Morgan back in strike. The forward square has gone out of the boundary, so too mid-wicket, the long off and the long on. Here is Williams. She comes in, bowls to Morgan. Well, let me tell you, this was on the greenery, wide outside the line of the off stump, and signal wide by umpire Kaulisar. That will take the score now on to 47 without loss.
And sometimes I think the way our players approach their batting tends to put the bowlers off a little. Bowlers probably thinking they've got to try and outfox the batsman more times than not. Or wide again. This was probably even wider. That one was. So I think they've got to be careful, because they could end up bowling another 2 or 3 overs. They have already, I think, behind by 1 over.
Yes, more than 1 over as well. 48 without loss. Here is Williams, and this is hoisted in the air out towards the field down on the mid-wicket boundary. The return comes in, and Morgan, she gets another run. She will now move on to 16. It's now on to 49 without loss. She's a very stockily built young lady, Morgan. She packs a punch, but her timing has been a little bit off in this inning so far. Back comes McLean in strike. Here is Williams to McLean. This is short. She's driving on the onside of the pitch. It was in the air, comes down towards long on, and the return will come in from Akira Peters, and they stay put on 1. That will take the score now on to 50. So here's the 50 up for the Jamaicans. They're 50 without loss in over number 8.
And if you take those wides away, they would have been on no balls, a couple of no balls they've had
Yes.
as well. They would have been doing pretty well. They probably would have been about 40, 41 or thereabouts. So, you've got to try and control those things.
Yes, and that's the difference between both teams so far. Down the track, this is Hoyt in the air, and it's going to fell safely out towards the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Now, that was a brave shot. And I will take the right-hander Morgan now onto 20, 54 without loss.
So I think both batsmen realizing that they're falling back a little. From the start they should have probably been 60, 65 runs or thereabout. And so I think Morgan has decided she's going to take on all the bowlers.
Yes, and they haven't lost a wicket. Maybe not a bad ploy at all, looking to expose further some of the limitations of the Windward Islands bowling. Short, she goes onto the back foot, cracks it away down towards cover. Nicely knocked down in that field. There is no run. The over is completed. 8 overs gone. Jamaica, they're 54 without loss. 20 is Morgan. McLean is on 19. This is CWI Women's T20 Blaze from the National Stadium.
Yeah, and I think Jamaica would be fairly happy with the sort of start that they've got. They've got, 50 odd, and they've only lost 1 wicket. They haven't lost any wicket, as a matter of fact. You've got somebody like a Stephanie Taylor still to come. I think that will be, they will be quite happy with the way things have gone. Stephanie Taylor still to come. When you've got probably one of the world's best batsmen still to come.
Yes, certainly. And there's also Nation as well there.
Yes, Nation, another international cricketer. And we did see her batting pretty well in the last 50 overs game. So, they will be quite happy with the way things are going for them.
Yes, so it's going to be Joseph. That's right. And she is going to be bowling to the right-handed McLean. So another change, Kiana Joseph. And she's going to come from the northern end of the ground, just a solitary slip. There is short third man. We have a square cover on the boundary. There's an extra cover long off and a long on. And the left armer deceives the right-handed McLean there. She was coming onto the front foot, looking to play the defensive shot. She wasn't too sure as the ball just dropped on her at the last moment. Good start here by Kiana Joseph.
I think that it's a different type of bowling. It's a left-arm orthodox. And we haven't seen a lot of good left-arm spinners in this tournament. In the regional 50 overs, and now in this 20 overs, so she could cause some problems.
Yes, and this is nicely tossed up again and played away down towards short mid-wicket. Here is Kiona Joseph, comes in. This is short. McLean is hoiting this one in the air. It's going to fall safe and close towards the mid-wicket boundary 2 for 4. That was a deliberate shot by McLean. She is strong. The score goes on to 58 without loss. And McLean with that boundary will now move on to 23.
Well, that was a good shot because it was slightly short of her length. She realized that there's a long on and a deep mid-wicket, and she hit it between those two fielders. And it went all the way into the boundary for 4. Good looking shot and well played as well. Just when I thought the left arm spinner could be a little bit of a handful. First 2 deliveries were pitched up nicely. That one was a little too short and it was easy to put away. I was just asking John a question. Remember when we saw the Windwards in the Super 50, they had the left arm seamer. Is this the same girl bowling left arm spin now?
Kiana, I
think so. I think
we have to double check that one.
I'm surprised because she actually bowled very well when
yes,
she
she
was bowling
did.
left arm.
If it's the same person, this is driven away down towards long off on the boundary. A delivery that was floated up and played well by Morgan. She gets another run. She moves on to 21 and the score will move on to 59 without loss. Now, this is interesting. Are they trying to take the pace of the pitch and trying to bowl spin here? But if the same person, she did excellently bowling left hand. Kiana Joseph comes in. That's short. And this is tugged around down towards the forward square on the boundary. Slide, saves, sends the return in. Good work on the boundary. And they will come back and complete two more to Morgan. And that will take the score into 61 without loss.
Well, she started off very well, and then she suddenly bowled a couple of loose deliveries, short deliveries. Lucky that one wasn't put away to the boundary as well, because it was a very, very short delivery, a long hop actually, and it was hit just in front of square on the onside.
Here is Joseph once again, comes in and bowls to Morgan down the track. When she gets there, it's whipped away down towards forward square on the boundary. The return comes in, drives the keeper away from the stump, and they get the single. One more to the score. The over is completed, and that's 9 overs gone. Jamaica, they're 62 without loss. Morgan is on 23 and 24 to the right-handed McLean.
Well, that was a good over for Jamaica. It got a boundary, a 2-run, and then it got had a couple of singles in that over as well. So Jamaica is looking to press on now. They haven't lost a wicket. You're nearly at the halfway stage. You can afford now to really go after the bowlers. And I think the Windwards hasn't done badly so far, apart from the wides and no balls, a couple of no balls that they have bowled. I think they have bowled fairly decent.
Yes, and you're right, Clyde. Kiana Joseph, the match you was talking about, left arm, medium fast, picked up 2 for 41. Down the track, and this is whipped away down towards mid-wicket on the boundary. Afi Fletcher comes off very quickly. Good attacking fielding sends the return in. And one more to Morgan. She moves on now on to 24. And that will take the score to 63 without loss. We're in over number 10 as we watch this next delivery. Outside the line of the off stump, kept a little bit low but worked away down towards long on. Akira Peters runs away towards her right, and the single is taken. So one more to McLean. She'll now move on to 25. It's now on to 64 without loss. So the boundaries aren't coming with the frequency that Jamaica will want, but the singles and the twos are coming. Here is the next delivery, short, and this is lifted in the air down towards wide long off. A little fumble on the boundary. It's going to roll close towards the rope. Doesn't get there. The return comes in, and they would have taken 2. So 2 more to Morgan. She will now move on to 26, and that will take the score into 66 without loss. As we watch Swelleen Williams once again. From the northern end of the ground, she awaits for Morgan to settle. Comes up and bowls to Morgan. Down the track and a big swing down towards mid-wicket on the boundary. Afi Fletcher has it covered. Sends the return in. Morgan gets another run. She moves on to 27. That will take the score to 67 without loss. We're seeing the big shots, but seems that the fielders are in the right position as well.
Well, I think Afi Fletcher's got the field fairly right as well, realizing the girls are looking for the big shot. She's got a deep backward square, deep mid-wicket.
And this is off the back foot and slammed away down towards long off. And that's the bowler dropping there, just clutching the legs. That's Swelleen Williams as the ball came away down towards long off. Well,
I think what happened there, the ball was hit very hard, and she got a hand to it, and it must have injured her, must have hit her hand very hard. I think it's her fingers. Maybe she's got a little bit of a split finger or something like that, but that was hit very hard, and she was trying to make it into a catch. That would have been an excellent catch. Probably would have been catch of the tournament so far, but certainly it was a good effort. But it was hit very, very hard indeed.
We saw a catch today taken by Anisa Mohammed, Trinidad and Tobago. It was a ball that was slammed by Grimon ferociously, and she took it around her ankle area, Clyde. That was a tremendous catch as well. And you're right, if this one was taken, it would have gone down as one of the best as well. Let's hope that all is well with the young lady out there. And we'll just run through the bowling figures for you. Etienne, 2 overs for 17 runs. Peters, 3 overs for 15. So she was economical. This is T20 cricket. Fletcher, 2 overs for 9 runs. Swaleen Williams, she's in her second over and 15 runs has been struck off her. Kiana Joseph had the lone over for just 8 runs. I can tell you that Morgan is on 27. The score is 68 without loss, and 26 to is McLean. So a little bit of repair job is being done there. But Clyde, it's good to see that after the 50 over tournament, every team, they put that behind of them. It's different kettle of cricket, and they've come out here to play exciting cricket. Despite that huge victory by Barbados here today, the other match between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago was a thriller. It was a very, very good match, and so far we've seen the Jamaican putting on a good show as well.
Well, we expect the Jamaicans to put up a good show. I think the surprising team for me in this tournament is Guyana. I think a lot of people, including myself, had some doubts because of in terms of their preparation and what has happened, and the lack of cricket in Guyana as well for the ladies. But certainly they've come out. Yes, they lost 3 games in the 50 overs, but I think they played well against Trinidad. They had a good game. Trinidad and Tobago, they had a good game. Against Jamaica, they scored 240-odd runs. So that was a good game. I think they were outplayed a little by Barbados, but they started well. They only got 130-odd they got against Barbados.
Yes.
And they got 3 quick wickets, so they put them under some pressure. But I think that they have done in general they have done fairly well. And today in the first 2020 game, they put up a good showing against Trinidad and Tobago again.
Yes, and maybe if a few things would have done differently as far as the tactical acumen is concerned, with them defending that 157 that they make, you never know. Trinidad and Tobago could have been pushed to the brink because it took them 18.4 overs and maybe a few things different in the field. The result could have been different. All is well with Swaleen Williams. She comes in now to bowl to Morgan. This is short, and Morgan is hoiking this one in the air, bisecting the long off and the mid wicket, and it raced 1 bounce over the boundary for 4. So she ends the over in style, or is there still one more delivery to go? 72 without loss. Morgan is on 31. McLean is on 26. 72 without loss. 10 gone. More from you, Clyde. And then it's going to be the voice of Matthew Kisoon.
Well, that last delivery was a short delivery again, and it was pulled nicely and hard through mid-wicket or straightish mid-wicket position, bisecting the 2 fielders at long on and a deep mid-wicket, and she got 4 runs straight. But certainly, I think that both batsmen now are really stepping the pace up and looking for the big shots. They're looking to now really go after the bowlers. And Afi Fletcher's actually still got a slip in, which is a little surprising because the runs is really coming. Well, I think she must depend heavily on this left-arm spinner in Joseph, who we saw bowl medium pace in the 50 overs.
Yes, here is Joseph bowls, and that's played down on the onside of the pitch, no run. Kiana Joseph, I think, is the youngest playing this side. She's 18 years old, number 10 on her back. And Rachel Francis is a slip, but Clyde, it could have been 72 for 2 because they had 2 drop chances. Of course, the one at mid-wicket, the fielder had to leap in the air for that one, but they did drop McLean. There was a ball that's hammered away through the offside down towards the sweeper position on the boundary. They come back for 2. That's Natasha McLean. She gets 2 more. She's gone up now to 28. I make it. It's 74 without loss in over number 11, Clyde. But they could have picked up 2 wickets. But, of course, that mid-wicket catch was a bit difficult indeed. But it did drop a dolly when they dropped McLean at mid-wicket on the boundary. Here is Joseph. Had a good bit of repair work done to her left hand. Well, she's not the one that had the repair done. It was the previous bowler, and that's driven back to the bowler. Beg your pardon, 74 without loss. So Kiana did bowl left-hand medium fast in the 50-over tournament against Barbados. She picked up 2 wickets. That's lifted in the air down to long on 4 runs. In fact, 6 runs signaled by umpire Bernard Joseph. So is that the first maximum for the match so far? The first maximum. And who better to do it than Natasha McLean, Clyde? But she's gone on to 34 now. It's up to 80 without loss.
I think Joseph has to realize that this is a 2020 game, because those last 2 deliveries, she really gave them a lot of air.
Here is a ball that is down the leg side. Natasha McLean was looking to force it through the onside. The fielder coming around towards the boundary. She gets it back inside. That's number 72 on her back. That's Zyda James. All right, and she's feeling for someone. Probably the Swilleen Williams has gone off. So they get what? They get 2 runs for that. And 2 buys, so extras will move on now, Clyde, to 15, 82 without loss.
That was a very good delivery, actually. It was quicker, it was a little fuller, and it actually went between the batsman and the leg stump. So obviously the wicketkeeper thought that was going to bowl her, and she missed it.
Kiana Joseph bowls and McLean gets the ball on the middle stump. She's forward defensive, plays back to the bowler. The over comes to Nenny. 11 gone, 82 without loss. McLean is on what? 34, 31 to Morgan, and it's 82 without loss. Clyde, 11 overs gone. It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
I like the look of Joseph. I'll tell you why. When we saw her in the 50 overs, she was bowling medium pace, and she bowled pretty well. Got the ball to swing a lot into the right-handed batters. And this time she's bowling left-arm orthodox spin. So that means she's got something about her that can be worked with. And it's certainly good to see.
Right, so we'll have a new bowler. That's Karina Noel. So she's replacing the young lady. That's Williams, who took a hard knock on that left. Maybe one of the fingers on the left hand attempting to take that catch. That ball was hammered to her. And she couldn't take it, so she's gone off. But we've got Karina Noel coming on now, the 24-year-old Grenadian. And she will bowl to Morgan, who's on 31. It's 82 without loss here at Providence. Night game, the 7 p.m. match. And all the 7 p.m. matches, Clyde, will be YouTube live and ball-by-ball commentary. Here is Noel comes up bowl. She misses her run, and she'll have to walk back to her mark. Little young lady. Not tall by any means, but seems to be bowling right-hand medium. Karina Noel, number 4 on her back. So the Windwards, they're trying hard in the field here. Afi Fletcher trying to get the players in the right position. Full toss, and that's pulled away over the wide mid-on area and into the boundary for 4. So even Peters couldn't get to that. And that was a juicy full toss. Clyde deserved that treatment. 86 without loss. She's gone up to 35.
And you look at the field, and you're wondering why is it that 5 persons are still in the circle. One would have thought that you would have had the 5 persons out of the circle, and that extra fielder would have been at a straightish mid-wicket, because that's where both batsmen are actually hitting those deliveries.
Right, you've got long off, then you've got long on a bit wide. Here is a ball that she's again swinging in the air, just in fact dropped by Fletcher in the mid-wicket area. Did that carry Clyde? I think it did.
Yes, I think it did. I think what happened to Afi Fletcher there, she thought it was coming to her harder because the batsman was swinging at it. It took it hit high on the bat, and it just trickled out to her, and she had to come forward and dive at the last minute.
Here's a ball that's lifted high in the air. It's coming away for 6. Just below our commentary booth, and that's another big maximum for Morgan as she goes up to a 41 now. Clyde has gone up to 92 for no loss.
As so often happens when there's a drop catch, the next delivery
That's right.
goes away to the boundary. That went over the boundary that was pitched up. She was coming forward and hit it nicely. Didn't try to hit it too hard, actually. She was hitting straight and hit through the line and got it over the fence.
Right, look, it's been 3 drop chances so far, and they've yet to lose a wicket. 92 without loss. Noel comes up, bowls. Here's a ball down the leg side. Looks as if it strikes her on the pad. Let's wait for a signal. The return comes in from short, fine leg inside the circle, so it will be a leg by. 1 more to the total. It's gone up to 93 without loss now as Natasha McLean comes back into strike. We just get the impression here, Clyde, with no wicket to have fallen thus far. Well, it's going to be no wicket to have fallen. It's going to be a serious business here for Jamaica. Well, 93 without loss.
The little chuckle there was that the bowler was running up and the umpire was standing away to his right. And when she got there, she realized the umpire wasn't there. And Go back to her
Yes,
mark.
just about 10 steps up. Here is McLean, gets the ball on the middle stump. She's forward, pushes it into the offside, takes a quick single as Zyda James comes in quickly from short extra cover. One more to the total. McLean has gone up now to 35. It's 94 without loss. But they're in such a good position that they can hit the ball as free as possible. Here is a ball that beats her outside the off stump. That's Morgan, taken by the keeper. Quicker delivery from Noel. Her over comes to Nen. 94 without loss, Clyde. What a position to be in. 11 overs gone. Is 11 or 12, John? Is it 12? 12 overs gone. 94 without loss. It's Cricket West Indies. Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
Jamaica is going to be very happy with this situation. They can now really launch an attack on all the bowlers. And when you look at the Windward Islands bowlers, yes, Afi Fletcher's got a couple of overs still to come, but she must be thinking now that she probably needs to come on to try and take a wicket, to try and put a little bit of pressure on Jamaica, or else the game could easily be running away from you.
Right, so Joseph will continue. Kiana Joseph, so she did bowl left-hand fast medium. Now she's bowling left-hand orthodox spin. Down the track comes McLean, checks the shot, pushes it out towards extra cover. The return comes in quickly, but she gets home. Natasha McLean at the non-striker's end. She's gone on now to 36. It's 95 without loss. Over number 13 starts. So Jamaica are the defending champions in this tournament, Clyde. And you think they're going to get stiff competition from Barbados and Trinidad this year?
Oh yes. I don't think it's going to be a walkover for any of the teams in this competition.
Joseph bowls wide up the off stump, taken by the keeper, 13, and there is no run.
I don't think it's going to be a walkover. I think Barbados will be hard to beat. Trinidad, as usual, Trinidad and Tobago obviously is going to be tough. So Jamaica is not going to have things their own way.
Joseph bowls just outside the off stump, slanting away from the right hand. The back forces it down through cover for one. She gets another run, and she's batted well. Couple of chances went to begging, but she's gone up to 42 now. It's 96 without loss. That's Morgan. And Natasha McLean on 36 comes back into strike. So it's time for some big hitting. They've got wickets in hand. They've got the big Stephanie Taylor to come their captain. Here is Joseph, comes up short of a length. That's banged away through the offside. That's going to go for 4. That's a lovely shot by Natasha McLean. The 100 coming up for Jamaica in fine style in over number 13. What a shot to bring up the 100, Clyde.
Well, that's a great shot. Any batsman would be proud of that shot. It was a delivery that was slightly short of the length. Well, it had the width outside the off stump. McLean went back and punched it nicely. Through extra cover for 4 runs. She did. I don't think she punched it. She actually hit that very hard indeed, because it raced away over the outfield. 4 runs.
And if you look at that score, 100 without loss in the 13th over, certainly Jamaica would have their sights set on close to 200, if not past 200. Here is Joseph, comes up, bowls to McLean. McLean is forward, beaten outside the off stump, taken by 13. The ball turned across her. And that was a better delivery on that occasion. Clyde 100 without loss.
I think that's the sort of length you have to bowl. They have to bowl those indecisive length where the batsman has to think whether to go back or forward.
Left hand over the wicket, and that's punched away nicely down to long off. Not fielded cleanly, but just the single coming. That's, I think, Afi Fletcher down there, is it? The captain. And they get 1. So McLean has gone up to 41. Now 101 without loss. 13 overs have been completed. So she's 41, 42. So they're neck and neck with each other to Morgan. 18 extras, the scoreboard says, Clyde. It's Cricket West Indies, Women's T20 Blaze at the end of the over.
That's a lot of extras. That's more or less 2 overs. I know it's 18 extras, but it would have buys, wides, and no balls, and a few leg buys in between there as well. So that's a lot of extra runs, though, for any team to give away.
Here is Noel, comes up, she's in bowls. Here is a ball on the off stump that McLean is driving down to mid-off. The fielder comes in, slides. They're going to look for a second as the ball parries away straight behind the stumps at mid-off. And Karina Noel herself had to come and tidy up, but they stay on 102 without loss. You look at Stephanie Taylor to come, then Shadeen Nation as well. And you look at the likes of Chanel Henry, Vanessa Watts, and Jerona Walcott down the order, Corrine Howell as well, and Rashada Williams. So they've got batting to come here at Jamaica. They're defending their title and they would want to get off to a nice start on the very first day. Here is a ball that's lifted in the air down towards long off. The fielder will come into field, and that's Rachel Francis. One more to the total. Nice shot. She's gone up to 43 now. It's 103 without loss.
Yeah, and that was a good shot. Looking to hit over the top. Didn't time it as well as she would have liked, and it went trickling out to the long off. So they got a single.
Karina Noel, third man inside the circle, backward point cover on the boundary, extra coming along. That's lifted in the air. Where will that come? Again, just below our commentary booth here, in the down towards the area here for 6. So that's the third 6, I believe, in the innings thus far. The third maximum, Clyde, 109 without loss. And McLean and Morgan are hitting the ball very clean.
Well, Natasha McLean give that the charge, and she certainly went after it. She didn't try and swing across it. It hit through the line, hit it fairly straight, and got 6 runs for it.
Looks as if she's going to get to her 50 before Morgan gets a ball that jams back into her from outside the off stump, inside edge onto the bat, then bounces away for the keeper to field. 109 without loss, but that was a big 6 just now. That's the second one that has come in our direction here in the media center, down below our commentary box or booth. 109 without loss, over number 14 in progress. Let's watch Karina Noel. Comes up, she's in Bolson McLean. McLean is back, hammers that nicely down through cover. She'll get a single. She's looking for a second. The return comes in just 2 bounces to the keeper. So she stays on 1. She's on to 49 now, 1 short of another half century at this level, 110 without loss, as Morgan comes in to strike. So 4 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Here is Noel, comes up, bows to Morgan. Morgan is driving back to Noel, who handles that well. And she picks up. That was hammered hard to her, 110 without loss. The over comes to an end, 14 gone. Jamaica winning the toss here in the 7 p.m. game on the very first day of the CWI Women's T20 Blaze at Providence. 110 without loss, 49 to Natasha McLean, 43 to Morgan, 18 extras on the board, Clyde, and certainly Jamaica in the driver's seat.
Definitely so. And if you're in the field inside, you would be thinking, what do we need to do to restrict them, to restrict them to 150, 160. And what you need to do is try and take wickets. Because as long as these 2 girls continue to bat, they're going to pile on the runs.
Joseph bowls to McLean. McLean pulls that through forward square. There's a field on the mid-wicket boundary. She comes around to her right. She fields, sends the return in. Had to drive the keeper away from behind the stumps. She gets her 50. So Natasha McLean, the international player, gets a half century. 111 without loss, Clyde. A well-deserved half century.
Well, she certainly played some lovely shots. I was trying to hit the ball all around the ground, and she hit a 6 as well. 2 6s, I think she's hit one 6 she's hit. So she's batted very well. 45
balls, 4 4s and 2 6s in that knock. She's back. This is Morgan, and handles it nicely. Gets it away towards the third man area, white third man area for 4. So she gets the boundary. She's heading up to her 50 as well. She's gone up to 47. It's 115 without loss. Nice shot.
That was a good shot, actually, because she went back. It was short. It was just outside the off stump. She waited on it and then placed it behind point, and it went for 4 runs. So good batting again by Morgan.
Right, so she's 47, McLean, an even half century, 115 without loss in over number 15. Inderjeet will pick up the commentary after this over. Let's watch. Kiana Joseph comes up. She's in, bowls to Morgan. Morgan is whipping that down to long on for 1. So she gets her 48 run now, 116 without loss, 18 extras. So Kiana Joseph is in her final over, is she?
Yes, she is.
She's in her final over.
None for 29 so far.
Right, here is Joseph comes up, bowls to Natasha McLean, who's on 50. She's back, hammers that through the covers. There's a feeler on the cover boundary for that shot. She gets 1. She's gone up to 51 now. It's up to 117 without loss. And Morgan comes back into strike. Third man inside the circle, backward point cover on the boundary, extra cover, long off, long on. Mid-wicket inside the circle wide. There is a mid-wicket on the boundary in a short backward square inside the 30-yard circle. Here is Joseph Bowes, well flighted on the leg stump. She's looking to whip it through the leg side. Was looking for a single, but sent back by Natasha McLean. And wisely so, as the return comes in back to her. And the score is kept on 117 without loss. So we're almost at the end of over number 15. So 117, a good total. They've not lost a wicket. They've had a couple of chances. Went to begging. The Windwards could have done better in the field. Here is a ball wide of the off stump taken by the keeper. The over comes to an end now. 117 without loss. Natasha McLean is on 51. 48 is Morgan. With 15 overs gone, 18 extras on the board. It's Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from Providence, more from John Ramsing, and then to take it through to the end of the Jamaica innings would be Inajit Prasad.
Kiana Joseph, the seamer turned spinner, has completed her spell. 4 overs, none for 30. She had a mixed bag, really, mixed returns in her spell. She had some very good deliveries, and of course she was a bit short and too wide at times, and she was punished. But nonetheless, the two batters that are in for Jamaica, they're really in. 117-run partnership for the opening wicket. That's certainly a position of dominance for the defending champions, and they're scoring just under 8 runs and over. So they're well in tune, really, to get closer to 100, close to 170, 175 maybe. That'll be a very good total for them. But because they have wickets in hand, they can push for 200. Hello, Indrajit.
Hello, John. Etienne will begin her second spell. This is over number 16 of the innings. And she'll be bowling to the right-handed Natasha McLean, who is on 51. So there's been a very good 51 by McLean. Here is Etienne. She comes up and bowls to McLean. Big swing by McLean, beats the leaping Etienne. Comes down towards long off. And the return comes in from Fletcher. So McLean gets another run. She moves on to 52. It's now on 118 without loss. So the foundation has been laid for the final assault on the Windwards bowling, with Stephanie Taylor yet to come, and so too Chideen Nation. Here is Etienne. Well, she hasn't gotten everything right. The rhythm wasn't going her way, and she decided to pull out of the run. There's a short third man, square cover on the boundary. There's an extra cover, long off, long on. There's a mid-wicket as well. Here is Etienne. She speeds in, comes up, and bowls to Morgan. She drops it away with soft hands down towards a short mid-wicket, and Rachel Francis Fields can't prevent the single. One more to Morgan. She moves closer to her half-century. She's on 49, 119 without loss. And certainly the ploy here is to go from one end, because that single will tell you that she wants to get McLean in strike. Here is Etienne, comes up, bowls to McLean, and she's hiking this one away, out through the deep backward square boundary for 4. That was a gift, and she make full use of it, McLean. She moves on to 56, 123 without loss. We're still in over number 16.
As if McLean was not hitting the ball clean already. She got a gift on her pad, and that one was definitely helped along. Timing was there as well. She's not trying to hit it too hard, just placing on the onside, and she got a boundary, whipping it off the pad. That's a good shot as well. So it has been a workmanlike innings and partnership so far. McLean has faced 18 dot balls, and Morgan 26. So they've been trying to get in, and they've done so, but they're putting the bad balls away, which is a very good thing to do.
Etienne comes in and bowls to McLean. She's slamming this one. It's high in the air. Fletcher settles under it and takes the catch. And McLean will have to go caught Fletcher of the bowling of Etienne for 56, 123 for the loss of 1 in over number 16. They waited a long time, John, but the first wicket has finally come.
Yeah, most definitely, but it had to take a good catch. And the experienced player in Fletcher, she was in the position at long off herself. That was not the best deliveries, of course, was a bit short. And the batsman went through with the shot, hitting it high in the air. She got height more than distance, and as a result of that, Fletcher just came off of the boundary a few steps in and judged it very well and took it. Reverse cup. Good judgment being shown by the captain on the boundary for the first wicket. Good knock nonetheless from McLean. She has done her job. 56 from 49 deliveries, 5 fours and 2 sixes, striking at just over 114 runs per 100 balls. So that's a very good return from her as the opening batsman. She has done her part. Now Chanel Henry is a new batsman, and she would want to continue in that same vein.
Certainly she will. Anyway, here is Etienne, comes in, bowls to Morgan. Onto the back foot goes Morgan. Hits it away down towards extra cover. Morgan gets another run. She moves on to 51. In fact, she's now on 50. That's right, I beg your pardon. That's excellent half century too by Morgan. Both Morgan and McLean really troubled the Windwards bowling. Well deserved. Congratulations to her. 124 for the loss of 1.
Yes, a good 50 from 48 balls, 7 fours and 1 6. That is also a knock of authority. She has faced more dot balls than McLean, but McLean, who's the more established player, of course, actually got the balls away much easier. But Morgan has played her part. She really hit the ball well earlier in her innings, maybe getting a bit tired now, and as a result of that, just getting the singles.
Here is Henry getting a delivery on the line of the leg stump, works it away down towards mid-on, and she collects a single in the process. So Henry is off the mark with 1. 16 overs gone. It's 125 for the loss of 1 wicket. Morgan is high and dry on 50. There's still 4 overs remaining. This is Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze.
Well, Henry coming out to the crease now to join Morgan with a license to go after the bowling. I rather suspect Nation would have been a better choice. Nation had a good knock the last game in the Super 50 right here at Providence, and as a result of that, I thought she would have been the batter to come after at the fall of McLean's wicket. But it's Henry. Maybe Henry has been given a license, and she can actually maybe give it a better whack than Nation. Still to be seen. But now that Fletcher is coming back into the attack, she's bowled 2 overs, none for 9. It's going to be an interesting battle because Fletcher is experienced. She will not be taken lightly. This is a good passage of play the last 4 overs.
Yes, so Fletcher will use her experience here. She comes in and bowls to Henry. She's driving away in the air down towards long on, and they get the single. The return comes in. Henry moves on to 2. It's now 126 for the loss of 1. Back comes Morgan in strike. Singles will not hurt the Windward Islands, but at this stage, we are in over number 17. Boundaries are going to hurt the Windwards. And Morgan is well set. No doubt she'll be looking for those boundaries. Big swing. That's huge. That's gone way over long on. What a great shot by Morgan. And she gets the maximum. And with that, she will now move on to 56. That will take the score on to 132 for the loss of 1.
Good use of the feet. Fletcher, the captain, pitching up, but because it was actually going to be a much shorter delivery to Morgan actually realizing the lack of pace on the track as well. She wanted to greet it on the half volley. She did so by wandering down out of her crease and greeted it and hit it very hard over long on.
Big swing again, this time over deep backward square and away to the boundary for 4. So she's getting them in the slot and she's making hay while the sun shines. It's 148? 136, that's right, 136 for 1. Another good looking shot.
She's not allowing the captain to settle in at all, just trying to reach her down the track and hit it hard. That was angled a bit on the leg stump, and she has actually flicked it hard in the onside and got a boundary.
So Fletcher being roughed up, a 6 and a 4. Where will this one go? Big swing again, over long on, out towards the boundary for 4. The field on the long on boundary is far too wide, and Morgan is hitting straight. She gets another 4. It's 140 for the loss of 1, and she rockets now on to 64. And John, 14 runs off 3 deliveries so far.
And that's exactly what she did after passing 50. 14-3.
Yes, Fletcher comes in down the track. This is smash just over the head of extra cover, out towards the extra cover boundary, and it's gone away for 4. Well, the lady down on the boundary decided, I'm not going to dive in these circumstances, and the ball raced away for 4. Fletcher is hand akimbo as she looked at the field. The score 144 for the loss of 1. She moves on to 68. Morgan.
Well, Morgan, after passing 50, has hit boundaries after boundary. Was a 6, then 3 consecutive 4s. She's not allowing the captain to settle in at all. As a result of that, Fletcher trying to bowl a bit quick, a bit full, and everything that she has served up so far, Morgan has greeted her on the half volley. Good use of the feet, and she's hit all to the boundary. Just the first delivery of the over was a single to Henry, and after that was boundaries to Morgan. So this is a very good attacking innings from the opener, and it continues.
Certainly it is. Here is Fletcher, bowls to Morgan. This is blasted again straight. This time the long on comes away towards the left, but can't stop the second run. They scamper through. A wild return comes from Afi Fletcher, and look at Henry looking for the overthrow as well. But Morgan sends her back. The over is completed. That's 17 overs gone. After 17, Morgan is on 60. Henry is on 2. It's 146 for the loss of 1.
And 21 runs off over number 17. That's a very big over for Jamaica. And Henry just got a single, but other than that, everything else went to Morgan, who's now raced on to 70. At the start of the over, she had 20. So that's a very expensive over from Fletcher, the captain. But she's going to chance herself even to finish at the other end.
Yes, so it's going to be Etienne to continue from this end. That's the northern end of the ground, and she begins to move in. Comes up, bowls to Henry, and it's a big swing outside the line of the off stump. It peels off the outer portion of the bat, running away towards fine third man, and it goes away for byes. So that will take the score on now to 149. I'll just double check there. It's 150 actually, John. That's right. 150 for the loss of 1. And when it's not going for you, it isn't going at all.
Yes, fortune favoring the brave. And since Henry came out, she looked like she want to hit every ball to the boundary. So far, she's just been able to get a few singles. And now she missed that one altogether. But the intent is there. She came out with a license to hit. And so far, the Windwards are getting the better of her, but she's not giving up.
Over number 18, Etienne bowls to Henry. She's driving, peels off the outer portion of the bat. Down towards fine third man. We wait the umpire. Signals a boundary. So the edge found this time. Henry moves on to 6. And that will take the score to 154 for the loss of 1. They're coming from the middle of the bat. They're coming via extras, and they're coming from the edges as well.
And that's what Henry came to the crease to do, to hit hard. So she went hard at that delivery, and she was beaten, but the outside edge was found, and there's no slip, of course, no third man, and it went into the boundary for another boundary for Jamaica. 154 and looking very good.
Etienne, her back is against the wall. She comes up, bowls to Henry. This is down the leg side, taken on the pad, and it just trickled through down towards the keeper, 13, and there is no run. It's like a little calming influence after the storm.
It always happens. But Etienne now, she's actually in her final over, 1 for 29 so far. She'll be looking to wrap it up, in other words, pick up a wicket or 2 and to keep things quiet.
Etienne comes up, bowls to Henry. Big swing by Henry. This has gone through deep backward square. It will racing away. The player can give up the chase, and it's another boundary, and they're flowing in gay profusion here this evening at the National Stadium. 158 for the loss of 1. 4 more to Henry. She's gone into double figures. She has now moved on to 10.
Taking her chances and riding it very well. That was not much of a bad delivery. It was well pitched up indeed from Etienne. But Henry trying to go for trying to get under it, and she got an inside edge, and it went all the way down towards backward square for 4.
Etienne comes in, bowls to Henry. This is short and in the air and taken down a short third man. Good catch, just diving away towards the left and coming up with the catch. And Henry goes for 10. Can't blame her. 158 for the loss of 2.
Wonderful catch indeed from Joseph. That ball was traveling off the outer part of the bat, off big booming drive offered, and the edge found once again. This time it was a thick edge, so it went to third man, where Joseph came up with a wonderful catch. He moved just maybe half of a step to her left, and she was in the perfect position to hold on to it. Good wicket, but nice cameo as well from Henry coming to an end. 10 from 6, certainly played her part, and a quick little partnership as well of 35 runs with Morgan. Morgan, of course, being the aggressor, taking 20 runs off the previous over. But Jamaicans continue to battle.
Yes, they continue to battle here, and they're in an excellent position. 158 for the loss of 2. And with the kind of start that they have gotten, they built the momentum up, and in the last over, lots of runs scored. This one too, I think they were, 5 byes, then there were 2 boundaries struck, and then a wicket has been taken. So the pressure has been stepped up in the last 2 overs. Is that Stephanie Taylor, right? So the captain of the Jamaican team. Machiki soon said, yeah, man. Here he comes up now, bowls to Taylor. That's a short delivery. And for the longest while, we've seen a defensive shot. And it played by Taylor. The over is completed. 18 gone. Jamaica, they're 158 for the loss of 2. Morgan is on 70. Stephanie Taylor yet to score.
And Etienne finishing her spell, 4 overs, 2 for 33. Expensive, but she picked up 2 wickets. The only 2 wickets to have fallen so far. Not bad returns in the context of the game. In this onslaught, 8.78 runs per over they're going at. With 2 overs to go, they can fancy themselves of still getting at least a 275, 280.
Well, the
yeah,
captain
180.
is trusting herself. How many overs came off the last over that was bowled by Afi Fletcher? 21. So she has trusted herself and she's going to move into bowl to Morgan. Comes up, bowls to Morgan. That's on the full. And Morgan came down the track. The ball eludes her. Did she get a touch anywhere? We're going to await the umpire for any signal. So he's not going to signal. Now he's signaling bye. So that will take the score now on to 159. That's right, 159. For the loss of 2. So a little relief here for Afi Fletcher to see Morgan off strike. But this superstar, Stephanie Taylor, has come in strike and she can step it up at any time she wants. You mightn't see her playing too many defensive shots other than if she wants to give the strike to Morgan. This is on the full and this is nicely stroked away down through forward square and she takes the single. So she's off the mark with 1. It's now 160 for the loss of 2. Back comes Morgan in strike.
And I think the message is clear. She has given Morgan the license to go after everything. So she has casually taken a single there to get Morgan back on strike.
Here is Fletcher. This is tossed up to Morgan and she's hammering this one away down towards long on. So good start to this over by Afi Fletcher. Just a single. 1 more to Morgan. She's on 71. 161 for the loss of 2. And if you just discount the run scored in the last 2 overs, prior to this one, you would have seen how competitive the match is. This is a delivery that Taylor is coming forward, beaten there in flight. As the ball went by into the gloves of the keeper. No doubt came off the pad and then went through to the keeper. There is no run. So she's making some amount of amends in this over. Afi Fletcher. She comes up now and bowls to Taylor. This is tossed up and Taylor's looking for a big swing. It comes past the keeper and this is going to run away for wides. Down towards the boundary. It was down the leg side. And that's going to take the score on by 5. And it will now move on to 166 for the loss of 2 more wides, John.
Yes, another delivery that the Windwards would have to bowl again as well. So the captain now trying to keep Stephanie Taylor quiet, trying not to bowl in the arc and angling it down the leg side and marginally missing the pad of Stephanie Taylor, perhaps missing the leg stump as well, not by much as well. But of course, anything in that area will be given as wide.
Fletcher comes in, bowls to Taylor. This is short and slapped away down towards the field and the cover boundary. The return will come in and they'll get the single. It's now 167 for the loss of 2. And Stephanie Taylor, she now moves on to 2. And with that delivery that went down the leg side, it wasn't far down the leg side. What I felt is that the keeper got up a little bit too early. Have to be careful. You want to get up as late as possible so your judgment is impeccable. This is short, outside the line of the off stump, taken on the pad there by Morgan. The end of a very good over by Afi Fletcher. At the end of it, it's 167 for the loss of 2. Morgan is on 71. Taylor is on 2. 19 overs gone. This is CWI Women's T20 Blaze from the National Stadium in Guyana.
Just 3 runs off the bat in that 19th over, the final over by Fletcher. Fletcher sent down her 4, none for 38, but they were byes and they were wides. So as a result of that, 9 runs came off of the over altogether, and they continued to score heavily. 167 now on the board. Last over coming up, and Fletcher finishing her spell and marshalling her troops now to Stephanie Taylor, who's actually going to be facing up in the final over. I think she's going to try to hand it over to Morgan, who's on 71 and well set. But if it's in the arc, I think Stephanie Taylor will have a go as well, because it is the final over. Lots of wickets in hand. I'm still hoping that from a Jamaica standpoint that they get to 180.
Well, they should from here on. That will take another 13 runs. But certainly, Akira Peters has been entrusted with the ball in her hand. And she'll be bowling these final 6 legal deliveries. And she'll be bowling to the right-handed Stephanie Taylor. She comes up and bowls to Taylor. This is pitched up. She's coming forward, driving down towards short, extra cover. The return, well, doesn't fire in. But there was Kiana Joseph looking to smash the return in, but held it in the hands. They get the single. This won't hurt. It's 168 for the loss of 2. But what might hurt is that Morgan has come back in strike. She is on 71, and this has been a splendid innings by the opener. Here is Akira Peters, comes up, bowls to Morgan, and Morgan is driving down towards long on, and they're going to get a single, so 1 more to the score. It's now on to 169 for the loss of 2. So the Windwards, they've done pretty well in the first 2 deliveries.
Yes, just 2 runs from that, and including 1 of the bat of Morgan. Morgan carrying her bat in this innings so far, and walking into that shot. She's a batsman who's very confident as well.
And here is Taylor driving. It flew off the outer portion of the bat down towards the vacant third man. She gets the boundary, and with that 4, she will move on to 7, and that will take the score now on to 173 for the loss of 2.
Yeah, with this time from Peters, and the West Indies captain will not miss out on that. She just went at it, not trying to hit it too hard again, but just opening the face of the bat and running it down to third man really, and got a boundary. 173, still on for 180 in the JIT.
Yes, certainly, even past that. Here is Akira Peters. She's on the way to bowl to Stephanie Taylor. And Taylor is swinging this one away. That's a cracking shot. Down towards wide long on. Beats the diving Affie Fletcher. Well, she dived there for her country. That was a dangerous dive. The ball went away to the boundary for 4. Fletcher will now move into double figures. She has gone on to 11, 177 for the loss of 2.
Taylor. Yeah, so definitely she just walking across her stump, getting, because the bowler was actually angling that delivery just outside the off stump, just on about the off stump, and she walked across her stump, and she made it into a delivery on her pad, and she pulled and got it down towards long on. Fletcher tried her best, but could not stop a boundary.
And this is pulled away down towards short mid-wicket. The return fired in, and it eludes the bowler. What has happened there? They're going to go for overthrows here belatedly, and a little bit sluggish in the field there to get to the ball. And the Jamaican capitalize. They get the extra run, and that will take the score now on to 179 for the loss of 2.
Yes, bad backing up on that occasion. The return was sent in from the field at mid-wicket. And the bowler did not get back in time, but the fielder at cover, extra cover on the other side, was not backing up and allowed the extra run as well.
So Stephanie Taylor moves on to 13. Here is Peters, comes in. That's on the full toss and swung away in style. Over forward square. She ends with a maximum. Is that the end of the over? Yes, that's the end of the 20 overs, and what a way to end with. Taylor smacking a maximum. She ends on 19 not out. Morgan is on 72. Jamaica of the 20 overs, 185 for the loss of 2.
And what a way to finish the innings. A full toss, and Stephanie Taylor, the captain, latched onto it very quickly and sent it into the stands, and I think that will be a souvenir for the spectators there. But 19 of 9 deliveries, playing her part, Stephanie Taylor. Quick partnership of 27 with Morgan, who did wonderfully well to get to 72 from 57 balls. 10 fours and 2 sixes, carrying her bat. 28 dot balls in that innings as well. The partnership of 123 with McLean certainly laid the foundation for this Mamba total from Jamaica. And I think definitely the way that they have started in their title defense, that 185 is going to be a winning total. We know that they have capable bowlers, and the Windward Islands, of course, can maybe cause an upset. But 185 on the board at Providence is going to cause some amount of scoreboard pressure. Well batted so far to Jamaica.
Yes, the Jamaicans have done well. They won the toss, and immediately there wasn't any hesitation that they're going to have a bat on this pitch first. They took their time of the first 6 overs. That's the power play. They managed just 37, scoring at just above 6 runs and over. But all the while, it was laying the foundation for the late flurry, which did come. So we're going to run through the scorecard for you. McLean was caught by Fletcher of Etienne for 56. She faced 49 balls. There were 5 boundaries and 2 sixes. Morgan was left not out on 72. Fantastic innings. 57 balls. There were 10 fours and 2 sixes. Henry was caught by Joseph of Etienne for 10. She had 2 fours in that 10. And Taylor was left high and dry, not out on 19 as well. 2 fours. There were 19 fours in the innings and 5 sixes. So that will tell you how attacking the Jamaicans were. In the bowling department, Etienne had 4 overs, 33 runs, no wicket. Peters, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 33. Fletcher, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 38. Williams, 2 overs for 19. Joseph, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 30. Noel, 2 overs, none for 20. So we have brought you updated 185. John, there are runs on the board. It's going to be scoreboard pressure. Does the Windwards have what it takes to challenge the 185?
The 9 wides were sent down and 2 no balls that were bowled back. So that's 11, almost 2 extra overs. And 185 is certainly a mammoth total here at Providence in T20s, especially in women's T20s. No, I don't think the Windwards will actually get there. Jamaica will be all over them, and if they're not very careful in their approach to this innings, the Jamaicans will actually bowl them out. But I think because it's a new tournament as well, the 50 overs completed, now T20 Blaze, the Windwards want to start on a good note. And to get a good start, they need a foundation in the power play, just like what the Jamaicans did. They did not go hard at the start in terms of all-out attack. There were some good deliveries and they showed some respect. 37 from the power play, 6 runs, just over 6 runs and over. Not bad at all. So if the Windwards can take an approach like that, have a good measure of the opening bowlers sent down by the Jamaicans, they can actually go for the late assault. I don't think they have the firepower, but they can be very smart in their approach.
Well, it is cricket, and I think you're right about that. Anything can happen, but it's a huge advantage to Jamaica. And in that 4-6 overs, very often people feel T20 cricket, you must score 60 and 70 runs in the 4-6 over. But the problem is, if you go reckless after the bowling and you do not get that 60 and 70 and you end up at 30 or 40 for the loss of 3 or 4, the pressure is right back on the batting team. Here is where I thought that the Jamaican ladies did extremely well. They're very calculated in their attack and defense. They ensured that they laid that foundation, and certainly it blossomed beautifully in the end by some great power hitting, especially by McLean, Morgan, and we saw what Taylor can do when it comes down to the end of the game. She finishing off the innings with a certain fine shot for 6. So 185, and the Windwards will be looking for 186. And there are many that might be saying, you know what, it's going to be easy for the Jamaicans. While they're not favorites, the Windwards, we want to see a fight.
Yes, most definitely. You don't want to see the Windwards rolling over at all. And Jamaicans will come hard at the Windward Islands batsmen. And as a result of that, the first few overs will be very interesting in the run chase. If the Windwards can survive, it means that they're up to the challenge. But if the Jamaicans pick up some early wickets, it may very well be an early night. And we still would love to see a very good game. We had 2 good games earlier today. One-sided, we may say, in the first game when the Leewards were bowled out for 107, replying to 206 made by Barbados. But the second game, when Guyana put up 157, that was certainly a competitive game because the Trinidad and Tobago team were asked to get 158, and they did so with just 8 deliveries to spare. And that was certainly a competitive game. So now if the Windwards can come and get a good start, we can see a competitive game in the making as well. If not, it will be an early night.
Yes, and it's going to be interesting to see what their approach will be like, because they'll be looking to chase down that 186. That's just above 9 runs. Well, I said just above 9 runs and over. That's a huge task for them. their approach. What do you think the approach will be like? Of course, you're going to have this restriction for the first 6 overs.
They just need to be watchful initially. Try to play each ball on its merit. Jamaicans, of course, if the Windwards go ultra defensive, they'll be bogged down, and the Jamaicans will be all over them. But if they try to be positive and play the ball in the gaps and work the singles and the doubles, and try to put away the bad balls as much as practical, I think with a good start they can push to get that 186. I would like to see a good game.
Yes, and it's going to be interesting to see who they open the batting with. There is Juliana Nero in the side. There is Swaleen Williams as well. They're nice little all-rounders. The skipper, Afi Fletcher, is there too. Rachel Francis. And the wicket-keeper, Glendine Turtin. There is Homer as well. So whatever they decide to do with the openers, they will have to ensure that the foundation is being laid for this 186 that they've been asked to score. The light rollers is being used on the pitch, and the 2 umpires are making their way out in the middle. Umpire Kelman Kaulesar and Bernard Joseph, they will continue to do their duties there. So the light roller is just to ensure that the dust is settled, whatever they might be on the pitch. There aren't too much of dew here at the National Stadium, so it might not really be a factor out in the middle. We are judging from our glasses that we are looking through at the moment. Not any heavy dew whatsoever. So the match has already been set, 185, the Jamaicans scoring. The Windwards will be looking for 186. More from you, John, and then it's going to be the voice of Matthew Kissoon.
Well, the type of innings we saw from Jodie Ann Morgan and at the top of the order, Natasha McLean, that really showed that the pitch is actually good for batting. And under the night sky here at Providence, the pitch tend to hold up, and we tend to see a good run chase generally under the night sky. But when they play with a pink ball, it's a totally different story. But now with the white ball, I think it's going to play even. You mentioned dew. It's always a factor at Providence, but so far we're not seeing any real evidence of the dew. We know it's usually something that the bowlers will have to battle against. And now the Jamaicans bowling in this second innings, in this run chase, they may be very well bringing out their rags to dry that ball. But only time will tell whether it will be a factor here, really. It's early, just 8:33 in the night. So, of course, not quite the night that we know at Providence when it's really dewy. It's been a dry period in Guyana right now, so we can expect some amount of dew later on, and hopefully it will not be a big factor. Hello, Warren.
Hi, John. Hello to everyone. Clyde Butts has rejoined me now, and it's time for some action in a minute or two. The Jamaican players getting ready to come onto the field. The umpires are already out. And Clyde, if you look at this Windwards batting lineup, and you're looking at 186 to get, they have to score at 9.25. What do you think of the Windwards batting lineup? Can they challenge this total? Can they go after this total?
I don't think so. I don't think they have the firepower to do so. Take away Juliana Nero, who's an experienced player. She has been around for a long, long time. And you look at the rest of the battling, I don't think they have that sort of fire and power to be able to chase that sort of score. I think they're probably thinking that they're good enough to probably get 120, 130 or thereabouts, but to get to 187, I don't think they have the sort of batting lineup to get to that score. And one has got to take into account as well that Jamaica has a fairly decent bowling attack. So I see Jamaica winning this fairly comfortably and handsomely.
Right, so the players make their way out to the middle. That's a Jamaican team. Just to recap for you quickly what has transpired in this third CWI Women's T20 Blaze match. Remember, today's day one, and we already would have witnessed that game between Barbados. They got up to 206 and the Leewards 107, and then Trinidad beating Guyana by 5 wickets. Those two matches would have been played earlier. And now the night match, we saw Jamaica winning the toss and electing to bat, getting up to 185 for 2 in their 20 overs. McLean made 56, 5 fours and 2 sixes, and Henry, she got 10, 2 fours, with Taylor not out 19 and Morgan not out 72. Morgan's innings was made up of 57 balls, 10 fours and 2 sixes, 28 extras, 19 wides, 2 no balls, 11 byes, and 1 leg by. So 19 fours and 5 sixes in that knock, Clyde. 186 to win. The extras were certainly healthy, 28.
Yeah, the extras were much too much in that innings. But again, the foundation was laid by the two openers, Morgan and McLean. And they batted pretty well, rotated the strike nicely. And when the loose deliveries came along, they put them away. And they had nice little cameos at the end by a nice little cameo by Taylor as well. So I think that would more or less have put paid to the Windwards' hope of actually doing well in this game.
Right, so let me correct the wides for you. It was 14 wides, actually. I said 19 just now. That was a little typographical error. The bowling figures: Fletcher 4 overs, no maiden, none for 38. Etienne 4 overs, no maiden, 2 for 33. Noel 2 overs, no maiden, none for 20. Joseph 4 overs, no maiden, none for 30. Peters 4 overs, no maiden, none for 33. And Williams 2 overs, no maiden, none for 19. The bowling for the Windward Islands. We're going to watch, that's Henry. Chanel Henry, the 23-year-old. She will start, very talented indeed. And she's going to come in to bowl to Rachel Francis, the left-hander. Here is Henry bowls full toss. She doesn't put it away. She, in fact, hits it hard into the ground, and then it bounces away towards mid-wicket. First delivery, Clyde, was a gift, but she was unable to put that away.
Well, I think Henry just guilty of looking for pace there and bowled that one full, and the batsman was unable to put that away. That was should have certainly be put away or banged out into the deep, but certainly it was a delivery that you need to score off of.
So Francis and Juliana Nero out there in the middle to do battle for the Windwards. Slip third man, backward point cover on the boundary, extra cover mid-off. Then we've got mid-on, mid-wicket, and a fine leg now going on the boundary. The third man will come up inside the circle, so the two fielders out would be fine leg and cover on the boundary. Henry bowling right hand around the wicket, comes up, bowls, and that's driven. Nice shot, down through mid-on. She'll pick up 4 runs. And even the fast-moving McLean won't get to that, so they're off the mark right away. Clyde, well, the second delivery, she's off the mark with 4 without loss.
Well, another full toss again, but this time it was put away just to the right of the girl at mid-on, and it went all along the boundary, all the way into the boundary before. Better-looking shot, didn't time it as well as she would have liked again.
Right, that's Rashada Williams that she beat at mid-on deep. Here is a ball that she's bowled. Oh, third delivery, and Rachel Francis, the Grenadian, the 28-year-old, will just walk back, disappointed to the pavilion. Just a boundary she got, previous delivery, and right away, Clyde, the Windwards are off to a bad start. They're 4 for 1.
Yeah, and I think that's a scoreboard pressure does to you as well, because you come out, and obviously she probably was sent in to go after the bowlers. Delivery that was pitched up, it was straight. She was looking to hit it just probably to the wide mid-wicket area, when she would have been better advised to look to hit straight down the ground, hit across it slightly, and she was bowled middle stump.
Well, they couldn't want a worse start than that, because you don't want to lose a wicket in the first over if you're going to chase 185. Remember, you've got to go to 9.25. And you don't have the batting talent in your side. I mean, it's T20 cricket, and look who's coming out now. Looks like the captain, Fletcher, actually. So Fletcher's been shouldering the Windward side in every department, the bowling and the batting department. She's a good fielder as well. So she's come out to do battle now for the Windwards, joining Juliana Nero, who hasn't faced a delivery as yet. And the Windwards are off and under pressure already. Chanel Henry is picked up from where she left off in the 50-over tournament.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be very difficult for the Windwards to get to that score. I think they would be best advised to try and bat and make sure that bat 20 overs, probably look to get 100, 130 thereabouts, get some good practice in to make sure they compete in the next game.
So the 32-year-old Grenadian captain for the Windwards is getting off the mark right away. She forces it out through cover for 1. She's off the mark. I've watched Afi Fletcher bat in this tournament thus far, like the 50 overs. She's not bad at all with the bat.
Well, she's a capable all-rounder. She's a capable batsman. and does get runs for the Windward Islands when she get the opportunity.
Right, so she's 5 for 1. The very first over Henry struck. She bowled Francis for 4 for 1. And let's look at that field. Third man inside the circle, right? And then you've got backward point, cover on the boundary, extra cover in the mid-off. Henry comes up, bowls to Nero. Nero is inside her stumps and then just steers it out towards backward point where Nation is. And there is no run. Mid-on, mid-wicket, and fine leg inside the circle. So Stephanie Taylor marshalling her forces pretty well, of course. Good captain indeed, very tactical in her strategies. Here is a ball that she's back, pushes it out towards cover. She gets her first run, Juliana Nero. Very experienced indeed is Juliana Nero. She's been around for some time. And they get a single. She's off the mark now. It's 6 for 1, Clyde.
Yeah, and Juliana Nero more or less used to carry in those days it would have been St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Dominica playing a separate team. Right. And she used to carry the batting for St. Vincent. She was, has been for a very long time the best batsman from the Windward Islands, and she used to carry that batting. And St. Vincent used to compete with the other teams. And, you know, I think what has happened there as well is a case whereby the cricket in the Windwards especially the female cricket has dropped off a little, and they don't play as much cricket as they used to, and I think that's what it is showing in this regional tournament.
Right, so Jamaica defending their title, and they've started pretty well because 186 will be very difficult for the Windwards to get indeed, as we watch Carla Cohen, the 35-year-old who will come into the attack from the southern end of the ground. And you're talking about Juliana Nero. She's been around for some time indeed. A lot of experience and still playing cricket, still a fit cricketer. That's so good to see from the ladies who've been around for some time. So Carla Cohen comes into the attack. She'll bowl over number 2 for Jamaica. Remember, it's 6 for 1. They need 186 to win. A healthy rate of 9.25 they've got to go at. And that could never be easy for a side that hasn't showcased enough batting talent to probably get a total of this sort. Let's watch Cohen comes up. She's in bowls to Nero. Nero is pulling that through mid-wicket, 4 runs. Lovely shot, just short of a length outside the off stump. And she was able to latch onto that, Clyde, and pull it nicely through mid-wicket. Kept it along the ground for a well-placed boundary. The total has gone up now to 10 for 1.
Well, that was a bad delivery, and it got the treatment it deserved. It was short. It was just outside off stump. Nero was going across her stump and pulled it down well in front of square on the leg side and got 4 runs for it.
Right. She's gone up to 5 now, 10 for 1. So they need to play some nice shots. They don't need to give their hand away. A big shot that cost Francis her wicket. Here was a ball that she's back, jumps back to, and then pushes it down to mid-on where Henry is. And there is no run. So Jamaica know that they're defending their title, and they've got to play good cricket here in this T20 tournament, the CWI Women's T20 Blaze tournament now. And you're defending your title. You've got strong teams like Barbados and Trinidad to face. And certainly the practice here would be very good for them, and a handsome victory they need. On the back foot she goes. Ball that comes into her from outside the off stump, Nero. And she plays it into the offside, and there is no run. 10 for 1. So tomorrow's matches, as we said, I'll repeat for you. Friday, Guyana versus the Leewards, first game at 9, followed by Trinidad versus Windwards at 2 p.m. And then Barbados versus Jamaica. So they'll have a big game to play tomorrow. Jamaica tomorrow evening on the lights again. That's hit away down to mid-on, deepish, just inside the circle. Of course, Henry's there. And again, no chance of a run. Nero's kept in 5. 1 to Affy Fletcher. It's 10 for 1, the Windwards. But they would want to put up a nice batting effort, Clyde, even if you don't win the game. You don't want to be bowled out for 60, 70, or 85. Here is Cohen bowls, gets a good delivery that kept a bit low and comes back into the right-hander. She's forward, plays it out towards mid-off, no run.
Yeah, and it's from that, after that second delivery that was short. She's pitched the ball up. She's making Nero play on the front foot, looking to score off the front foot. And that's a good sign that she's settling in nicely and bowling in good areas.
Cohen, just a couple of steps up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 comes up, bowls. That's a short ball, and that's pulled around backward of square, 4 runs. Remember, only 2 fielders can be outside the 30-yard circle for the first 6 over, and she pounced on that and sent that away to backward square for 4. 2 boundaries in the over. She's gone up to 9, Clyde Butts, and her experience coming into play now is 14 for 1 at the end of the over.
Bad delivery again, got the treatment. It was short, it was going down leg side, and Nero just really had to help it around behind square and got 4 runs through it. So that was a mixed bag in terms of overs, because they had 2 long hops and 3 good deliveries in that over.
Right, so 14 for 1. Francis bowled Henry 4 in the very first over. Just to remind you again that McLean got 56. Taylor was not out 19, and a wonderful innings of 72 by Morgan, who opened the batting, played well indeed. 57 balls, 10 fours, 2 sixes. Henry got 10, 185 for 2 in their 20 overs. 19 boundaries, 19 fours, and 5 sixes in that innings. Let's watch Henry comes up. Bowls to Fletcher. Fletcher is pulling that through mid-wicket. Runs here for the Windwards captain. 1, they'll come back for a second. The ball will beat the fielder. That's Natasha McLean into the boundary for 4. And that's a nice way for Fletcher to pick up a boundary. She moves to 5 now. The total up to 18 for 1.
Short delivery again. This time was pulled way in front of square. Didn't really time it, I think, as well as she would like. It in the air it went in the air for a little bit. It went between the field at mid-wicket and mid-on, and she got 4 runs through it. Again, the Jamaican bowlers guilty of bowling a little too short, and I'm just wondering if they're thinking that the Windward Island players cannot hook or pull.
Right, so Henry begins to move in. She's played some 14 T20 matches for the West Indies. Here is Fletcher coming forward and driving down to cover. And there is no run. So Henry's got a little bit of experience. And I remember when she was batting, when she came out to bat at number 3, her strike rate in T20 cricket is 75.5. And Nation, who didn't come, her strike rate was actually 94.3 in T20 cricket for the West Indies. Here is a ball on the off stump. She's forward defensive, plays into the offside, looking for a single that's not on. The score is kept on 18 for 1.
I got the feeling that Jamaica is probably looking to make sure that Henry gets into form, because they would need her later on in the tournament. We did see Chadi Nation play a wonderful innings the other day. So they're making sure that the batsmen are ready when they reach the stronger teams.
Henry comes up, nice shot, full length delivery outside the off stump, driven by Fletcher, but there's a field at short extra cover, and she doesn't score. But Fletcher looks good. She always looks pretty good. She wants to do well for the Windwards. She's a fighting cricketer. She'll give you her best. The leg spinner settles. Here is Henry comes up, bowls on the middle stump. She's forward defensive, plays into the offside. Henry comes around to her left to field, and she's kept on 5-9 to Nero. And obviously with Nero opening the bat, and they want Nero to bat throughout this innings, Clyde. She's got to play a good innings indeed. The experience needs to come.
She's got to play a good innings, whether they want her to bat through, because she's a player that loves to play her shots.
Fletcher settles and is swinging outside the off stump. Loose shot taken by the keeper. That was a bit wide. And very ambitious shot indeed as the third over comes to an end. 3 gone, 18 for 1. It's Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
I think what the Windwards has to do, they didn't have such a good time in terms of their batting in these 50 overs. They need to try and put a couple of partnerships together in this game. When you're chasing that sort of total, it's the first game of the season. You're chasing a big total. You have to ensure that your batsmen get a knock so that the next game they could actually compete.
Right, so 3 gone, 18 for 1. Maybe John could tell me after 3 overs how many Jamaica had. They had 23. So obviously they would be ahead, because if you look at that total of 185, certainly the Windwards would want to try and be up there at least for the first 6 overs, the power play overs where 2 are outside the circle. They can go over the top. Once you hit clean, you can clear the infield, pick up some boundaries, and then work your way through the middle of the innings. So here is Nero settles. Let's watch Cohen bowls. In fact, Watts comes into the attack, number 18 on her back. And that's Vanessa Watts, beg your pardon, the 31-year-old Jamaican, and brings the batter forward, plays into the offside, no run. So Vanessa Watts having a first over here. She comes in from the far end, comes up, bowls to Nero. Nero gets a ball wide of the off stump. She's dabbing it down to short third man inside the circle. And that's fielded there by Corinne Howell. At short third man, there is a backward point in the captain. There is a Coven Nation, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on. Of course, there's a long on and a straight mid-on. There is a mid-wicket on the boundary and the backward square for you. Let's watch Watts comes up. She's in bowls. Down the track, Nero looking to lift that and maybe into the onside. Gets it off the outer portion of the bat. It bounces away into the offside. Clyde, the score is kept on 18 for 1.
Well, I think what Jamaica has done is decided they're going to tighten things as much quickly as possible. And Watts is one of those type of bowlers that doesn't give a lot away.
Vanessa Watts bowls. That's on the leg stump. Turned away to the forward square area. She takes a quick single. Juliana Nero. She gets her 10th run. She goes into double figures now. It's up to 19 for 1 as Fletcher comes into strike, the captain. Well, I like the look of Fletcher and the way she goes about her cricket indeed. You know, you may not have extremely talented batters to come along the line, but you want to stay there. You've taken on the responsibility to come and bat at number 3, and that is good indeed. Let's watch Watts comes up. She's in bowls. Here is a drive off the inner portion of the bat down to her short backward square where Morgan is. She doesn't score. She's kept on 5. It's 19 for 1 in over number 4. Here is Vanessa Watts. So a nice innings of Morgan, 72 unbeaten. The highlight of the night so far. Here is Watts, who's bowling outside the awesome. That's dabbed away. Nice little cut down to the short third man area for 1. Afi Fletcher. Looking good indeed as she moves to 6 now. It's gone up to 20 for 1. Over number 4 comes to an end. It's Cricket West Indies Women's T20. Blaze from Providence.
That was a good over from Watts, keeping things fairly tight as she normally does. She has been around for a long time. Watts playing in regional tournament, and I can't ever remember her bowling badly. She's always tight, doesn't give a lot away in terms of her bowling, and she's one of the meanest spinners around in the region.
Yes, certainly. But it's really good to see women's cricket picking up nicely, and I'm sure the vision of the new leadership of CWI will ensure that women's cricket continue nicely. The sort of money put into the game for the ladies in the Caribbean, and good to get good support as well in the Caribbean when such cricket is played. There is Fletcher looking to force that through the offside, missed the shot taken by the keeper. And that's Tamika Sanford, the 32-year-old, who's the wicketkeeper. And there is no run. Over number 5 starts, 20 for 1. Inderjeet will take over from me at the end of this over for the next 5 overs as we come down to the end of day 1 of T20 Blaze. Here is Henry comes up. She's in bowls outside the off stump. Fletcher's looking to force that through the offside. Got it out towards cover. Fielded there by, that's Corinne Howell. And there is no run. 20 for 1. Fletcher's on 6. 10 to... that's Nero. She is looking on now as Fletcher faces up and is driving up. Nice shot. A little bit airish, but not a chance by any means. That's to the right of point, and the fielder from the boundary comes off to field that. She gets 2 runs. She's gone up now to 7. Let's see. The scoreboard will take over to 8. It should be 8. The scoreboard is saying 7. It's 22 for 1 in the 5th over. So Jamaica hasn't given away an extras yet, Clyde. That's so good indeed. If you're going to defend that 185, you want to be mean, very mean indeed. Let's watch Henry. Comes in once more to bowl to Fletcher. Fletcher gets a ball on the off stump, edged away all along the ground, down towards third man, who comes off the boundary. So she gets another run. She's gone up to 9 now. It's 23 for the loss of 1 in the 5th over.
What I like about the bowlers is that they tend to bowl fairly straight, not giving the batsmen a lot of wit to use their arms. Apart from those couple short deliveries that we did see in the previous overs, they have bowled fairly well.
Third man on the boundary and cover on the boundary. The 2 fielders outside the circle. Henry bowls on the off stump, and Fletcher is stabbing it into the offside, and there is no run. So few in fact, Nero. So We've got a few spectators in the green stand. I think I'm seeing a couple in the red stand, and maybe one or two in the orange stand. So not much coming out on day one to watch night cricketers yet. Here was a ball that's driven. Nice shot. Is going to go out towards the fielded cover on the boundary. She comes in quickly, picks up one more to Fletcher. Well, Nero, in fact. Nero has gone on to 11 now. The total up to 24 for the loss of 1. 5 overs have been completed thus far in the Windwards innings. 24 for 1. 9 is Fletcher. 11 is Nero. And it's a good time to remind you as Inderjeet gets ready to come in. It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze from Providence. More from Clyde, then it will be Inderjeet.
Not a good over from Henry. Just bowling with a little bit more pace than we did see our bowler earlier on. Getting the ball to nicely just around about the off stump, not giving the batters any sort of width to use their arms and keeping things fairly tight.
As we watch Watts, that's a good delivery just about the line of the off stump and turned away by Nehru. For one moment, I thought that ball would have gone through her, but she had enough bat onto it down towards mid-wicket. She gets another run. She moves on to 12, and that will take the Windward Islands now on to 25 for the loss of 1. Vanessa Watts comes in, bowls to Fletcher down the track. She drives down towards short extra cover, and there is no run. So a good battle going on out in the middle there, but Jamaica has just stepped on the brakes. They're very stingy. Windward Islands are trying to get the runs. This is short, and good lift off the pitch there by Vanessa Watts. It's 25 for 1.
Vanessa Watts got that ball to actually turn and bounce. I think it's the first delivery you've seen all day or this evening that has turned and bounced. And yeah, Fletcher was looking to hit through the offside. It turned back on her.
Certainly did. This is short off the back foot, crashed away through the covers out towards the boundary for 4. Ever pleasant sight by Afi Fletcher. She will now move on to 13. It's on to 29 for the loss of 1.
That was a great shot. That was a delivery that had the length. Had the width. I think was more or less the width that caused her to get spanked away through the covers for 4. But certainly that was a very, very good shot indeed. Back,
yes.
Hit it just in front of square on the offside. Timing, beautiful.
And we're in over number 6. Vanessa Watts, she's going to be hurt by that shot played by Afi Fletcher. And she can bat, Afi Fletcher. They're looking for 186. This is over number 6. She comes in. This is short, and she's cutting again. She bisects the cover and the backward point, racing out towards the boundary. It's going to be pulled back just about now. The return comes in, and they complete 2 more. 2 more to Fletcher. That will take the score now on to 31 for the loss of 1. And good feeling by Karina Noel, running away towards the boundary. Afi Fletcher, she now moves on to 14. And 12 is Nehru. 31 for the loss of 1. And Fletcher goes into her stands once again. There's a ring of fielders on the offside. Short third man, backward point just outside the circle. There's also cover, extra cover, a wide mid-off. We have a mid-wicket, short backward square, and a backward square on the boundary. This kept very low. It was heading outside the line of the off stump, and Fletcher comes forward. The over is completed. 6 overs gone, looking for 186. The Windwards, they're 31 for the loss of 1. This is Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from the National Stadium.
Yeah, and they're certainly under a lot of pressure, not being able to score as freely as they would have liked. And I think once Watts came into the attack, things got even tighter. So they're really struggling to really put the bad deliveries away that they've gotten. We did see a lovely shot in that last over from Afi Fletcher to the cover. I think when you're chasing that score, you have to take some chances.
Yes, and John Ramsing, who is multitasking at the moment, you see, he compares he compares the 2 teams. Jamaica at this stage 37 without loss. The Windwards, they're 31 for the loss of 1. So just 6 runs behind, but they've lost a wicket as well.
Yeah, I think they're not bad in terms of where they are. Yes, they have lost a wicket, but I think the difference was that who was the players that were batting. You had a McLean who can really step it up, and Morgan, who has been around for a little while, and she does hit the ball very hard indeed.
So it's going to be Carla Cohen. She's going to come from the northern end of the ground, and she begins to move in. Comes up, bowls to Nero. That's a short delivery, and she was winding up with an extravagant cut. Didn't get anything onto it. The score stays on 31 for the loss of 1. Commentating on female cricket, something new to us, Clyde. I almost said she when I referred to John Ramsing. Sorry, John.
No comment. You must know something that I don't. So.
Here is Cohen. She's on the way once again. Comes up and bowls to Nero. This is a delivery that's played away into the onside, down towards the forward square. They have taken one with thoughts of coming back for the second. In the end, they decided that we are going to stay at 1. So 1 more to Nero. She now moves on to 12. Is it 12 or 13? Right, she's gone on to 13. That will take the score into 32 for the loss of 1. So Cohen turns in the distance once again. And then a few little bit of a chip, gathered momentum, comes up and bowls to Fletcher, short and pulled away. But there is protection down on the forward square boundary. The return comes in and they get the single. 33 now for the loss of 1. And with that single, Affy Fletcher, she moves on to 15. Right, she's gone on to 16. So Cohen will try once again. She pitched up a few. She tried a short delivery. And now she's bowling to Juliana Nero. Comes up, bowls to Nero. Nero is driving. That's a superb shot on the onside of the pitch. Back past the bowler for 4. Timing was there. Power was there. And with that boundary, she will now move on to 17. 37 for the loss of 1.
That was a good looking shot. She was coming down the track. Didn't try to overhit it. She hit it straight back past the ball on the onside of the pitch. Hit it very hard indeed. And it went racing across the quick outfield of the stadium for 4 runs.
Yes, and had McLean sprinting to her left. He's feeling at long on. She couldn't get there. And Juliana Nero just growing in confidence. She has gotten 17, has played quite a few attacking shots. Here is Cohen, and this time she's cover driving down towards short cover. The return comes in, and the keeper, Sanford, just knocks it down. Didn't take it cleanly from the gloves, but they get the single. 1 more to Nero. She now moves on to 18, 38 for the loss of 1.
Yeah, and obvious that Nero is really trying to step things up. That last delivery, she was trying to punch it through the offside off the back foot. Got it straight, well, just to the left of the field, and got a single. But she's certainly looking to step things up. Obviously, she thinks that she can still do this.
Yes, and that should be the thinking. Here is Cohen once again. Passes the umpire, comes in, and bowls this is short and slapped away by Fletcher. Down towards short cover, and there is no run. She had a chance there maybe just to hold the shot back a little. She didn't. She went full-blooded. The over is completed. 7 gone. 38 for the loss of 1.
I think that's the difference between an Affy Fletcher and a Morgan. Or they have a little bit more power. Fletcher, I think, should try and depend a little bit more on her timing rather than look to hit the ball as hard as she can. Because she does time the ball well when she takes her time and look to rotate the strike.
Yes, so they have to sort things out. And they had a little mid-pitch conference, no doubt deciding what is going to be their next line of attack. So we're going to have a change of bowling from the southern end of the ground. And that's going to be Chedine Nation. I like this girl. She's a very good player. She's a good all-round cricketer, very aggressive as well. And Nero is going to be in strike as now cover is going to be posted way out on the boundary. There's a fine third man backward point, an extra cover, long off, long on, and a forward square on the boundary. There's also a short backward square. As we watch Chedine Nation from the southern end comes in, bowls to Nero, and she's driving. That's a spanking shot, beating short extra cover, and it races across the boundary for 4 runs. Good looking shot, and that will do her confidence a lot of good. She moves on to 22, and that will take the score now on to 42 for the loss of 1.
Welcome to the bowling attack, Nation. And Nero greeting her, half volley there and driving very hard. And also in the gap, so she got a boundary, and she's gonna fancy herself now against Nation because it's 1-0 in terms of what she has done facing up to Nation. So that's a good start. A poor start from Nation. She'd want to pull it back just a little bit.
Yes, and the pressure is turned right back on Nation when you can score off the first or second delivery, get the boundary. Right back the pressure comes on the fielding team. Here is Nation. She comes up and bowls to Nero short, and she's slapping this one away. Fletcher looking for the single. It goes away down towards Chanel Henry, feeling at extra cover, and there is no run. This time not getting the kind of power and placement she was looking for. And she seemed to be a very wristy player. When you look at her as she plays those drive, you can see powerful wrist coming into play. Juliana Nero goes into her stance once again. The keeper, Sanford, goes down as we watch this delivery. Short, and once again, she has a bottom hand, very heavy bottom hand. Drags it away down towards mid-on, and Jamaica is going to leak a single here. That should have never been. The return kick comes in, and it comes down towards the short third man area. They get the single. One more to the score. 43 now for the loss of one.
Well, the fielder there at short mid wicket actually hit the stump at the non-strikers end, and the ricochet allowed the batsman to scamper a single. But the intent is there from Nero. She's trying to go for her shots, trying to get back the run rate on track for this run chase.
Yeah, she's 53. Here is another delivery. She's coming forward. That was well bowled. Delivery bang on target from Nation. And all she can do is to defend. But when you look at her, you can see the aggressive nature. She believes this is the time for her to just explode, ensure she work the ball around and go for those big shots as well. 43 for the loss of one because the bowling, the overs are ticking away. This is a delivery wide outside the line of the off stump, and she was playing that extravagant cover slash. She didn't make any contact. It went by into the gloves of the keeper. Once again, there is no run. So Jamaica, they posted 185 with McLean spanking 56. As we watch Nation once again comes up and bowls to the right-handed Fletcher. She's looking for the drive. It goes by into the gloves of the keeper. The over is completed. 8 overs gone. They're looking for 186. The Windwards, they're 43 for the loss of one.
Good steady over. The boundary coming early, but after that, Nation pulled it back. But Stanford, the wicketkeeper, Tamika Stanford, standing up to Nation. It's a slow pitch under the night light as well. But I think that's a very good effort from the wicketkeeper, standing up to Nation, who can actually zip it through. And so far, she's been doing a very good job to make a Stanford. And I usually say, if you do not mention the wicketkeeper, that she's doing a good job. In this case, she's definitely doing a good job and containing the batsmen, keeping them in their crease, in the respective creases, of course. So 43 for one. At the same time, the Jamaicans were out of the blocks in a hurry, 54 without loss. So the Jamaicans are well ahead of, at this stage. And of course, the Windwards have lost one batsman so far.
Yes, they have, and you called it right, John. Sometimes the wicketkeeper remains silent, but most of them, they're very talkative behind there, and she's been doing a good job. This is a short delivery, and Nero rocks on the back foot, looking to get it through mid-wicket. Can't make it through that area. It comes away down towards short mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Stephanie Taylor. Patrolling that area. No, that's not Stephanie Taylor there. That's actually Walcott. As we watch this next delivery, it's pitched up on a big drive down towards mid-off. Henry is in the way, and once again, there is no run. So that's Cohen operating from the northern end of the ground. Has kept it very quiet so far, and this is good. You want to start your over good, so the pressure goes on to the batsman. Here is Cohen once again. A little bit of a chip comes in. Bowls. This is short, and this is cut away down towards square cover. They've taken one, and that's all it's going to be. So one more to the right-handed Nero. She now moves on to 24, and that will take the score on to 44 for the loss of one.
The positive intent is there for Nero, but not all of the deliveries are there to hit. But she's trying to hit everything. She needs to be a bit more watchful, but I understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to hit herself out of this rut that the Windwards they found themselves in because of the amount of dot balls and not boundary deliveries that they've gotten so far. So she's trying to hit herself out of that pressure. But this type of pressure and scoreboard pressure as well will cause them to lose their wicket if they do not play proper cricket shots.
Here is Cohen once again. She comes up and bowls to Fletcher, and off the back foot she goes and cuts it away. But once again, while she's looking good, the ball is going straight to the fielder, and there is no run. This is over number 9 in progress. And when you look up and see it's 44 for the loss of 1, and you're almost halfway stage there, surely you can feel that the siren under pressure pot is going off. Lots of pressure out in the middle. Here is Cohen, comes in, bowls to Fletcher, a big swing outside the line of the off stump. This is frustration. It goes by into the gloves of the keeper. There is no run.
That's a much slower delivery as well from Cohen. The ball is not going to zip through. And Fletcher was early into her shot and missed it altogether. She threw everything at it. And I think had she connected, that ball would have gone crashing down to the cover boundary. But was not to be. And both herself and Nero survives.
Cohen, short, lifting delivery outside the line of the off stump, and she delayed the shot and cuts it down towards third man, and Fletcher gets another run. That will take the Windwards total now on to 45 for the loss of 1. Fletcher, according to the scoreboard, is on 16, 24 to Juliana Nero. Good time to remind you, this is Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from the National Stadium in Guyana.
And Nation is going to come back for her second over. The first over went for 5. And so far, you must say Henry, 3 overs, 1 for 14. Cohen, 3 overs, none for 17. Watts, 2 overs, none for 9. So good stuff so far for the Jamaican bowlers. And at the moment, the Windwards, they're scoring at just 5 runs and over. At the start of the innings, they were asked to score 9.25 to beat the Jamaicans, which means now the required run rate is almost 13, 12.82. Lots of pressure under the Windwards.
Yes, certainly. Is this over number 9, John, in progress? 10. That's right. This is over number 10. The scoreboard is saying 9. Short, lifting delivery outside the line of the off stump. And there was Juliana Nero, Fletcher, looking for the expansive offside shot. Didn't make any contact. In fact, that was a very good delivery by Chidi Nation. She turns in the distance once again, a little bit of a chip, and she comes on, bowls to Fletcher. She driving, gets it on the inner portion of the bat, drags it away down towards mid-off, and they'll get the single. One more to Afi Fletcher. With that single, she moves on now to 18. And the score is on to 46 for the loss of 1. So they're preventing the boundaries, and even the singles are becoming a little scarce commodity at the moment. The Jamaicans have been pretty tight indeed. Here is Chidin Nation once again. She comes in and bowls to Nero, and she's banging this one away out through extra cover. Long off has no chance. That's another boundary. Great shot by the right-hander. And she now, with that boundary, will move on to 28. It's now on to 46. In fact, that's the 50 up on the board. That's right. It's 50 for the loss of 1.
And quite strange enough, in comparison, Jamaica got their 50 off 56 deliveries with 5 fours. And now the Windwards, they've gotten their 50 off 57 deliveries with 8 fours.
Well, you can see it's not too far apart, but when you look at those 2 overs that really change the game, when I think it was just about 38, 39 came off 2 consecutive overs, and it was no stopping the Jamaicans since then. Here is Nation. She's on the way to bowl to Nero, and this is short outside the line of the off stump. She's banging it away down towards extra cover, coming off the boundary. The return comes in. Nero gets another run. She moves on to 29. It's now 51 for the loss of 1. So Jamaica won the toss, and they decided they're going to take first strike. McLean made 56. Henry made 10. Morgan was left not out on a sparkling 72. Taylor supported the end with 19. They scored 185 for 2 when their 20 overs ended. Nation comes in, bowls to Fletcher, and she's cutting this one. Beat the short third man, and it comes across that big fat white rope for 4 runs. Well played by Afi Fletcher. She gets a boundary. She will now move on to 21-55 for the loss of 1.
And this also brings up the 50 partnership between Fletcher and Nero. And they've been there together. They've faced some 56 deliveries, with Nero contributing 29 so far, and Fletcher 22. So good partnership. And if they can look at this as a positive and work away towards that total, it can actually bring this game into a much more competitive one than it is right now.
And you're right about that, John. Here is Nation. Comes in, bowls to Fletcher, and she's lifting this one in the air over the top of extra cover. In fact, square cover, and out towards the boundary for 4. That was a deliberate shot by Afi Fletcher. She gets the boundary, moves on to 25. It's now on to 59 for the loss of 1. That was well played.
And that's a very productive over. 14 runs from it. What Nation was doing in that last over, she was bowling very wide of the off stump. Her first over, she was spot on. She was bowling very close fourth and fifth stump deliveries in her first over. But the second over, when she was hit all around for 14 runs, she was bowling too wide of that off stump. And the Windward Islands batsmen are not going to miss out on those wide half volleys. And they got some good runs. They got 3 boundaries in that over and 2 singles. So they're trying to be positive as well, trying to get back on track of this run chase. As we say good evening once again to Matthew.
Good evening, John. Good evening to everyone across the world, especially in the Caribbean area. Jamaica, of course, and the Windward Islands, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Certainly nice little islands, and you're following your cricket closely. Nero settles, very experienced indeed. Let's watch a ball that she is spanking nicely down through the backward point area, peeled away off the outer portion of the bat, down towards third man wide on the boundary. And she gets a single. That's Juliana Nero. She's now gone up to 30, 56, I think 60 in fact, for the loss of 1 in over number 11. So we've just passed the halfway mark. As Carla Cohen, the 35-year-old, continues from the northern end. She comes up, she's in, bowls to Fletcher. Fletcher drives, glorious shot for 4. Beautifully bisecting extra cover and mid-off, a little deep, and down to the boundary for 4. She found the gap well drawn as a total move up to 64 for the loss of 1.
That's a pleasant shot, perhaps the shot of the innings so far by the Windward Islands. And who better bat to come off of? And it's the captain, Afi Fletcher, just outside, marginally outside the off stump. And well pitched up indeed. And she just stretched into it, making it into a half volley. And the fielder at extra cover and mid-off had no chance of getting there. In the end, Henry went to the boundary just to retrieve. Pleasant shot indeed. And Fletcher now on to 30, joining Nero. And they're growing from strength to strength.
Cohen comes up to a batter who looks in form. She's driving, and that hits the stumps. Actually hitting the off stick if you're batting from the non-strikers end as a right-hander. But she doesn't get a run. She's kept on 30, 64 for the loss of 1, John. I'll ask you after this delivery which team you're backing in this T20 Blaze tournament. I know you really like the Trinidadians, but I guess if you look at the composition of the sides, you'll be able to give your little assessment on who you support, who you think could win this competition. Here's a ball that's pulled away over mid-wicket, 4 runs. Savage shot by Afi Fletcher. 2 spanking boundaries in the over thus far, and she's looking ominous here. She wants to get on with things. She's gone up to 34 now, John Ramsing. It's 68 for the loss of 1.
Not a good shot. Short delivery this time from Cohen, and Fletcher pulling over the infield. The fielder at mid-wicket is right back on the 30-yard circle. And she stretched her hand, maybe just saying goodbye. And that ball went over her head and into the boundary very quickly. That's a savage shot indeed from a short delivery.
But she needs to stay there if they're going to make a game of this. There was a ball that she's driving off the outer portion of the bat in the air, bouncing away towards third man on the boundary for 1. Afi Fletcher. Now, John, she has upped the tempo. She's gone into maybe third gear. She's gone up to 35. It's 69 for the loss of 1.
Yeah, she's actually passed Nero. Nero's on 30 and faced just 28 deliveries. But Fletcher, 34 balls, getting more of the strike, but on 35.
Cohen has been hit around here by the Windwards captain. She's lifting that in the air between backward point and cover. And she gets a single. No, not a chance by any means, but certainly airy shot. Nero, she gets 1. She's gone up to 32, I make it? 31, in fact. It's gone up to 70 for the loss of 1. The over comes to an end. 11 overs are being completed. It's Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from Providence. Here's a little bit more from John. Who's the team you're backing?
Well, Matthew, if you look at the construct of the teams so far, Barbados, they're a powerhouse. They're well in front in terms of the other teams and what they're offering in this competition. We saw what they did in the 50 overs, and they played unbeaten in the 50 overs tournament. And they got to the last round against Trinidad, and they felt that Trinidad would have been a better team because of the pitches in Guyana. And now all the T20 matches are going to be played at Providence. We see that the 2 pitches so far that are used are the extreme pitches, which means they are the slower ones, not the ones that were relayed. As a result of that, it will be very slow. So the way that the Barbados handled the Leewards today, they're going to be the team to beat. And the way that the Trinidadians played against Guyana today, they got to pull their socks up really to come good. But those 2 teams, Matthew, will be in the final again. Well, not in the final, but in a reckoning for the title.
I hear you, John. Here is a ball that's played down to mid-on, and there is no run by Nero. But I knew you backed Trinidad for the 50-over tournament.
Yes, I did.
But they came second. Second best. All right, and certainly that was a good competition indeed, the 50-over. Barbados winning clearly. Here is a ball that she's lifting back over the head of the bowler, down towards long off, and she had to get down Chedi Nation. That would have took her head off. But she got a single. That was a savage shot by Nero. She's gone up to 32 now with 71 for 1. These 2 are looking very good indeed.
Yes, and trying to get the run chase back on track. And they're playing some aggressive shots, and they're picking up the boundaries as well. So the tempo has been lifted. They're now scoring 6.26 runs and over. 2 overs ago, they were just around 5. So the tempo was lifted. And once they can continue to bat and bat deep, we can see they'll be getting close to 186.
Nation comes up to Fletcher. Fletcher's hitting that in the air. It's going to fall. Is it a catch taken by Henry, it looks like?
No. Yeah.
In fact, yes. So Henry takes the catch at long on. She had to cover some ground coming in. And Fletcher, finally a nice, entertaining innings of 35 comes to an end. Caught by Henry at the long on area of the bowling of Nation for 35. The Windwards have lost their 2nd wicket now, and the prize scalp of their captain, she's gone for 35. It's 71 for the loss of 2.
It had to take a great catch to end this partnership. 67 runs partnership for the 2nd wicket, and the captain, Afi Fletcher, going back to a well taken catch. It was Chanel Henry coming off of the long on boundary, a few steps in, and had to really put in the dive to hold on to it. Run a ball 35 for Fletcher, including 6 well-played boundaries, and she has done her part in this run chase, but I think she would have wanted to carry on some more. But having said that, 67-run partnership with Nero, who's still there, the Windwards can take this any day and will want to build on this. And this is a good start for them. They're behind the 8 ball, really, but it's a position where they can actually grow from it. It's a position of strength in a run chase against a powerful Jamaican team.
All right, so the batter's crossed, so Nero will take strike. The new batter coming out. I'll tell you in a moment. She's at the non-strikers end. Nero's on strike. She's still there. She's 32. Here is Nation Bowls. She's steering up nicely, guiding it down to the 3rd man area inside the circle. The number 19, that's Corinne Howell, did a little bit of work to keep it inside the circle, and then tidied up by Vanessa Watts. They get a single. In fact, they got 2 runs for that, so she's gone up to 33 now. 34, the scoreboard says. Yes, 34. 73 for the loss of 2. So the new batter is Akira Peters. So Peters comes out to do battle, the Grenadian, the 35-year-old. She'll have to wait a little before she takes her first ball, because Nero's on strike and she's on 34 and going great guns for her side. Fletcher just out, caught Henry at long arm. Nice catch running in. She made 35. Here is a ball. That's a right hand stuck out by Nation. She couldn't hold on to it. Driven hard back to Chedi Nation, and then it came down towards long arm. They took a single. Half of a chance there, John. That would have been a difficult catch to take indeed. She's gone up to 35. 74 for the loss of 2 in over number 12.
Yes, very hard chance there, half of a chance, but it went to her hand, Nation, and she did well to stop it. She saved the boundary really, and keep sacrificing her hand really. So that was a very difficult chance, not taken. But Nero, who's now gonna try to go at everything, will be fancying herself against the Jamaican bowlers. So far, Cohen has finished her 4 overs, done for 28. Henry 3 overs, 1 for 14. And Nation now in her third over, 1 for 23 so far. And like I said, the run rate has been stepped up, but they've lost the wicket of Fletcher in this over. 6.25 now the run rate. And the asking rate, the required run rate now, has gone above 13. It's now 13.71. All right, so lots of work for the Windward Islands to do.
So after 12, what was the Jamaica score after 12 overs? 94 without loss. Actually, Jamaica lost their first wicket in the 16th over. That was a big partnership of 123 for that first wicket. And that really set up things for them in terms of getting to 185. You felt maybe they may have wanted some more runs, but when you look at what they did, they certainly did well to get up to 185, thanks to that wonderful partnership between McLean and, of course, Morgan, 123. So that's 6. That first wicket went down in the 16th over. So the Windwards have lost 2 so far. As we watch, it's Nation bowling to, that's the new batter, Peters, who's driving down to mid-on. Good bit of footwork by the field at mid-on. She gets a single. She's off the mark, Akira Peters. So the over comes to an end. I think, John, when we had a little hold-up of play, simply because when she stuck that hand out with that ball being driven hard back to her, she got a bit of attention from the physio. So she's okay. The over comes to an end. 12 gone. It's 75 for the loss of 2. Peters is 135 to Nation. It's a good time to remind you that you're listening to Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
Yesterday, the Windward Islands team, they were practicing at Everest, and I was fortunate to be at the ground at the same time. And Nero, she was actually practicing some 6 hitting, some big hitting, and more often than not, she was getting them over the boundary ropes at Everest, and one even left Everest and perhaps hit Carifest Avenue. And that goes to show that she was actually pumped up, and she was actually getting ready for this game. And so far, we see a lot of the deliveries that she has faced. She's actually trying to hit them back over the head of the bowler. And that's exactly what she was practicing yesterday. So once it's in the arc, she's going to have a go.
So the captain will have her first ball, right hand off spin, bowling round the wicket, comes up, bowls to Peters on the off stump. She's forward, opens the face, gets it out to short third man inside the circle, and there's no run. Stephanie Taylor's got a wealth of experience at T20 cricket. She's played a lot of cricket, not only for Jamaica but for the West Indies. She's the captain of the West Indies women's side. Here was a ball down the track, and that's spanked down to long on where Henry is, hitting that nicely, and picks up a single. Akira Peters. She goes to 2 now. It's 76 for the loss of 2. But you don't mess with someone like a Stephanie Taylor at all. She's got, even in one-day international cricket, 130 wickets on her belt. So she would have played some 84 T20 matches for the West Indies. And she's got 68 wickets. So she's pretty good. You don't mess with an experienced cricketer like her at all. So here, these 2 batters would have to be very watchful. Yes, they've got to score quickly, but they've got to play very smart cricket to her bowling. She's bowling over the wicket now to Nero. Comes up, bowls to the right-handed Negro, who is pulling that around backward of square. The fielder does a bit of boot work. Good work in the deep by, looks like, Nation. And they get 2 runs. That's Nero picking up 2 for that. She's gone on now to 37. The total up to 78 for the loss of 2 in over number 13. That was a nice shot. Pulled around flat to backward square for 2. So Nero needs to stay there. As Taylor bowling over the wicket to the right-hander. So if these 2 can put up a nice partnership, certainly the Windwards would love that. Here is a ball that she's forward, stabs it out into the offside, gets a quick single as the fielder from backward point comes around to her right to field. 1 more to the batter. That's Nero. She's gone up to 38 now with 79 for the loss of 2 in over number 13. Let's watch Taylor bowling round the wicket. So she's bowling round the wicket to the left-hander and over the wicket to the right-hander. Comes up, giving some air down the track. It's that over wide mid-on. That's coming down towards Chanel Henry, who does well. Covering good ground to her left. The return comes into the bowler's end. And 1 more to the left-handed Peters, who's gone on now to 3. And the total up to 80 for the loss of 2.
Trying to get under that ball and to go for that shot over mid-wicket. and she got it a bit lower on the bat, and she got a single to wide long on. But Matthew, you can just see if there are many Henrys there, because the ball seems to be following her. She's all over the place.
Here is a ball she's down the track to Nero and then checks the shot, gets it out towards long off. Nice improvisation there by Nero on that occasion. Smart batting from her. She gets 181 for the loss of 2. I think they're 105 now behind John. The over comes to an end. 13 gone. It's 81 for the loss of 2. 3 to Peters. 39 to Nero. And the batters out. Francis bowled Henry 4 in the first over. Fletcher caught Henry at long on. Nice running catch coming in from long on. Off the bowling of Nation for 35. 6 fours. And ending a 67-run second wicket partnership. 71 for the loss of 2 in the 12th over. And since then, these two have added some 10 runs for the third wicket. 81 for the loss of 2, John. It's CWI Women's T20. Blaze from Providence.
With that score, it means now they need to get 105 runs to win from 42 deliveries. I think what they can do now is start looking ahead to the next game tomorrow.
So Nation will continue. Comes up. She's in bowls to the batter that slapped away. Nice shot between short third man inside the circle and backward point. Airy shot, but not in the way of anyone to take a catch. Down to the boundary for 4. And runs badly needed here by the Windwards now, John. It's gone up to 85 for the loss of 2.
Another short delivery from Nation. Her first over, she was spot on. She bowled very close to the stump and had the keeper collecting almost every delivery in her gloves. This time around, she's been given the batsman lots of room since her second over. And once again, more room, more width on offer. And she's cutting it very high. And it went over the head of the short third man and into the boundary for 4.
Over number 14 in progress. She's gone up to 43 now. She's into the 40s. Here was a ball on the leg stump. Worked her way through mid-wicket for runs again. Well, they'll get one only as the fielder gets onto that ball from a wide mid-on coming around into the mid-wicket area. One more to Nero. She's gone up to 44 now. 86 with the loss of 2. It's a good effort by the Windwards, but you look at that run rate, it's always going to be difficult for them indeed to chase down 185. You would have had to start at 9.25 per over. That's certainly a big ask in T20 cricket. As Nation will come round the wicket now to Kira Peters, the left-hander. Third man inside the circle. There's a backward point. She's getting it down towards backward point. Can't score. The return comes in quickly, hits the stumps, then ricochets down towards the straight short mid-on area. Scores kept on 86 for 2. And what's admirable in this, in the Jamaica bowling department, John, they haven't given away an extra at all.
That is extremely good indeed. No extra, not even behind the keeper or off the pad of the batsman. Wides and no ball for sure, and they're certainly looking very good as a bowling unit. And they've been supported in the field by the fielders as well. The ground feeling looking very good, with Henry especially covering lots of ground and taking a wonderful catch earlier.
Here is Nation, the 32-year-old with a lot of experience on their belt. That's back hammered away through the offside. Oh, what a lovely bit of work, but it's going to be tidied up. They're coming back for a second. That could have gone very close to the boundary, but there's a field out on the cover boundary as well. But Watts has done pretty good work there down at cover. They get 2. Akira Peters has gone up to 5 now. It's gone up to 88 for the loss of 2. We ran over number 14.
We were just speaking about the ground feeling and the support that the fielders have been giving to the bowlers. And there we saw Watts diving full length to her left and saving some runs.
Nation from the far end brings Peters forward, gets it off the inner portion of the bat down towards short backward square inside the circle. 88 for the loss of 2. She's kept on 543 to Nero. And she's batted well indeed. Fletcher played a good hand. 6 fours in her knock of 35. A nice partnership of 67 coming to an end with a lovely catch from Henry at long on. Here is a ball just outside the off stump. She's forward, stabs it out into the offside, bouncing away towards mid-off. No run. The over comes to an end. 14 overs have been completed in the Windwards innings, needing 186 to win. They now need 98 to get, I believe, John. It's 88 for the loss of 2. 14 overs gone. It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze from Providence.
98 from the final 6 if they're going to win this, which means 98 from 36. A Nation who's an experienced bowler just completing her spell. She had a few deliveries that were actually dispatched to the boundaries, but on and on she's been pretty steady, mixing it up in terms of her pace. 4 overs, 1 for 31. She would have loved to have better returns, but I think the run chase with 188, 185 on the board, the Windward Islands batsmen were going after her, and they cashed in a bit. So 31 from her 4, not bad returns overall.
Taylor goes in and bowls to Nero. Nero's pulling that nice shot through mid-wicket, 4 runs. That's a lovely shot from Nero. She's been in good touch thus far in this innings, and she's looked the part. She's gone up to 47, John. It's 92 for the loss of 2.
Well, it's not John, it's Clyde.
It's Clyde.
That was a shot.
Welcome back, Clyde.
That was short, and she was back into her wicket and pulled it fairly straight, but pulled it with very, very powerful indeed. And she got 4 runs through it. That was a good-looking shot again from Nero, and she has really batted well in this innings.
I think if she gets to her half-century, it will be a well-deserved half-century to Nero. So the mid-wicket now is out there on the boundary. Let's watch Taylor bowls over the wicket. Again, she's pulling that backward of square, more of a flat sweep down towards the backward square on the boundary. And she gets her 50. So well-deserved half-century. So the experience, Juliana Nero, she's done well for the Windwards here, and a fighting knock John Ramsing to get up to 50, 94 for the loss of 2.
I could never look as good as John Ramsing or sung as good as John Ramsing. That was a delivery that was pitched up. She was going for the sweep, swept it well. She didn't try to hit it too hard and got 2 runs.
40 balls and 7 fours, and that's pulled over mid-wicket, 4 runs. Lovely shot by Nero. She's continuing the good work as she gets now up to 54, 98 for the loss of 2. Clyde Butts, I've got it right. She's played some lovely shots in this over.
Well, she didn't try to keep that one down. She more or less swept that one in front of square this time, and got 4 runs. That was hit very hard indeed as well.
Right, so she's gone up to 54. The scoreboard is saying 53. Don't rob the young lady of a run. She's played well for her runs, 98 for 2 in the 15th over. Stephanie Taylor's been hit around here by the very experienced Juliana Nero. Well, can she get up to a fighting 75 or 80? Wrapped on the pad, loud appeal. Not out, says umpire Kaulisar. She was looking to flat sweep that through backward square, missed the shot taken on the pads. 98 for the loss of 2. And certainly Clyde, here is where the runs have got to come flowing if they're going to fight here in terms of this 185. Looks impossible, but they can really put up a good effort. Forward she comes and kills a spin, plays it into the offside for Taylor to skip around to her left to pick up, and there is no run. Inderjeet will take you to the end of this innings. 98 for 2, so he's standing by after Stephanie Taylor's over is completed. Let's watch Nero to this delivery. Is looking to hike that maybe high over mid-wicket area, missed the shot, taken on the pad, and then bounces away behind the stumps. The over comes to an end. She's kept on a well-played 54 thus far. 5 to Akira Peters. The batters out. Francis Bowl Henry 4. Fletcher caught Henry, Bowl Nation 35. 71 for the loss of 2. It's 98 for 2 after 15. It's CWI Women's T20 Blaze from Providence. More from Clyde. Then to take you through to the end of the innings will be Inderjeet Prasad.
Well, that was a good over for Nero. In that over, she got 2 fours, 1 pull through mid-wicket, 1 sweep just in front of square, slug sweep more or less, and she also had a fine sweep where she swept it behind square. So she has pulled out her variety, showing that she has been around a long time. She's still probably the best Windward Islands batsman and scoring runs. And I think this would do the Windward Islands a whole heap of good if their best batsman can start scoring. And with the tournament just starting the first game, this would do them good. And I'm sure they will be thinking, well, which of the teams in this competition we can beat. We can beat the Leewards. It's a possibility that we can give Guyana a run for their money, and maybe even give Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados a run for their money as well.
Yes, we are seeing some very good cricket by the Windward Islands team. They're coming up against the defending champions, Jamaica. Now it's Vanessa Watts. She will pick the bowling up from the southern end of the ground, and she'll be bowling to Akira Peters. Over number 16 begins down the track. She's driving down towards wide long off, and she gets the single. 1 more to Akira Peters. With that single, she will move on now to 6. That will take the score on to 99 for the loss of 2. And we're seeing some heavy dew now coming down here at the National Stadium. Certainly might be a little bit wet on the ball as well. But I agree with you, Clyde. Good observation. Here is where Windwards need to take it. Look at the very good things that have come out of this match. This is a delivery that's short, and Juliana Nero is coming forward, strokes it down towards extra cover, and she gets the single. One more to the score. That's the 100 up for the Windward Islands. They're 100 for the loss of 2 in over number 16.
And I'm sure in another game they would be happy with a situation where they're 100 for 2. Yeah, but in this game you're chasing a huge total.
And this is stroked away down towards short extra cover, and there is no run. And in the fielding department too, who knows if they had taken some of their catches, that might put some added pressure on the Jamaican batsmen as well.
I definitely think so as well.
Here is Vanessa Watts bowl down the track. Oh my God. And almost took the head. And look where the return comes in. She's going to be run out. She's gone. What a tragedy there. Big swing by the left-handed Akira Peters. Almost took the head out of Juliana Nero. The bat was off the hand in the air. And she scampered for the single. The return came in. She made a valiant effort to get there. Couldn't reach there. She's gone via the run-out route.
It wasn't a single, actually.
Well, that's right.
Juliana Nero.
Yeah, they were looking for it.
After taking evasive action, fell down. And Peters actually ran. I'm sure she wasn't looking at Nero. She actually ran and got to 3/4 way down the pitch, and she had to run back to get to her crease. In the meantime, the fielder picked the ball up and threw the ball to the wicketkeeper, and she was run out. An easy run out, really, because she was so far down that she got run out easily. But I think when you're batting, you've got to always remember that it takes 2 to make a single. So if one person is on the ground, there's no way you can get a single. You've got to be observant. You've got to be able to keep your eyes on the game. The thing about that was the ball was in the same area that Nero was. So she must have looked at Nero to see Nero was down.
Yes, very, very sad indeed. Etienne has come out into the middle now, and she will face up to the bowling of Watts. Here is Watts. She comes up, bowls to Etienne. Back she goes, drives down towards cover. There is no run. I'm wondering to know with the shot that Akira Peters played there. Was the eyes open? She went after it, and she was going for an almighty 6 there. It all happened so quick. The momentum took her down the track. When she realized what was happening, it was actually too late. Here's a big swish again by the right-handed Etienne. It eludes the bat, goes to the keeper. The over is completed. 16 overs gone. The Windwards, they're looking for 186. They're 100 for the loss of 3 wickets. 54 is Juliana Nero, and Etienne yet to score. This is Cricket West Indies Women's T20 Blaze from the National Stadium.
Yeah, and that was a fairly decent over from Watts as well. And the thing about Watts, she bowls in one area. She bowls on one side of the stump, making the batsman look to hit her through the offside to the right-handers, and then she bowls straight to the left-hander. So she has done her job. She's finished her 3rd over, and she's the one who went earlier on after Cohen had bowled her 1st over. She came on and put the brakes on, kept things fairly tight for her captain.
Here is Stephanie Taylor, comes in, bowls to Nero, shortish delivery on the line of the off stump. This is struck away down towards long off. Nero gets a run. She now moves on to 55. It's 101 for the loss of 3. Now, miracles still do happen, but from here on, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Windwards to win this. But they can take lots of positives. They have not been disgraced. A mighty Jamaican team. They held them down to 155, and they're 101 for the loss of 3. 185 rather. This is short. It's in the air, but falling short of the backward point there. Half-hearted cut. The score stays on 101 for the loss of 3.
Etienne was looking to back cut there more or less. Got the top edge, and it flew into the air, but just dropping short of the 2 fielders at backward point, and A short third man.
Taylor bowls to Nero. Big swing high in the air. It's going to fell safe. There were 5 ladies running for the catch. The return comes in. Etienne dives and it goes away into the outfield. And they will complete 3 runs. So 3 to... Well, in fact, it's 2. That's right. 2 runs. That was Etienne who played the big shot. She gets 2. So she's off the mark with 2. It's 103 for the loss of 3. And sometimes it's very difficult to watch the ball coming down from the night sky. But it fell in no man's land. Well, actually, no woman's land. As we watch Taylor comes in, bowls to Etienne. She gave herself a little bit of a room and then strokes it away down towards extra cover. There is no run. And this has been a very disciplined over so far by Stephanie Taylor. And this is a short ball. It's lifted in the air. It's going to fall safe again. McLean comes off the boundary. Can't get there for the catch. She moves on to 4, Etienne. 104 for the loss of 3.
And again, Etienne looking to get under the deliveries instead of trying to hit them probably flatter and harder.
Let's see what Nero is going to do with this one. She's swinging this one. Will she bisect the mid-wicket and the long on? She does, and that's 4 good-looking runs to the right-hander. She moves to 59. It's 108 for the loss of 3.
That was a good-looking shot. A slog sweep, but that was fairly straight because it went to the right of the long on and to the left of the of mid-wicket, and she got 4 runs straight. So she has played some really good shots in this innings, and she has certainly looked the part. And maybe it's a case where the Windward Islands can take heart from this sort of innings and come in the other games, come tomorrow and put up another good show as well.
Yes, so 17 gone, 108 for the loss of 3. And you never know with their performance here tonight, the Windward Islands, they might very well feel that, listen, we're going to pick whoever we are playing and we are confident that we can win this team or we can win that one. They can take a lot of heart from this. We're going to see a change in bowling from the southern end of the ground, and Chanel Henry will be replacing Watts, and she'll be bowling to Etienne. So a little discussion going on there between Taylor and Henry with 3 overs to go. We can almost say certainly it's a Jamaican victory here tonight.
Well, I think it has been a Jamaican victory from the time they got that partnership going, that opening partnership. I think they never really looked like if they were going to lose this game.
Yes, so for Stephanie Taylor, she's ensuring that the extra cover is out on the boundary. She's calling in the long off, and maybe no doubt looking to give Etienne the chance to go over mid-off. There's also an extra cover. In fact, now going into a cover position, and there's a backward point. Here is Henry, comes in, bowls to Etienne, and a big swing by Etienne. It was a slow delivery, and it was outside the line of the off stump, and Etienne dragging it away down towards short mid-on, and Henry very quick moves away towards her right, prevented any thought of a single. She's right arm medium fast. Chanel Henry comes in now to bowl to Etienne. And to this delivery, she's driving. It peels off the outer portion of the bat, comes down towards third man. The return comes in. Etienne gets another run. She now moves on to 4. It's 109 for the loss of 3.
Yeah, and Etienne just seems to want to hit the ball as hard as possible wherever it's pitched. And she's not timed a single delivery since she's come out into the middle. I think what she probably needs to do is just look to stroke the ball rather than to hit as hard as she can.
Yes, and sometimes when you sacrifice those big hits and look for power, you just allow timing to go through the window. And the same shot you can play, time it, pick the gaps, and you can get runs off them. But the attention is turned now to Juliana Nero, who is back in strike. So there is a gap between the wide mid-off and the cover field, but there's extra cover out on the boundary. Here is this delivery. Nero is coming forward quietly, plays it into the onside field, and she gets the single. This is intelligent cricket. She now moves on by 1. It's now 110 for the loss of 3. And realizing, Clyde, that there is no way they're going to win this game, she's ensuring that she bats there to the end.
Well, she should, and probably look to get a 75-80 not out.
Yes, so that might very well be on the target. She's actually on 60, 110.
Get her red ink, as some of the players would say.
Yes, so true. Here is Henry once again. A nice rhythmic approach. She comes in, bowls to Etienne. Big drive and bowl down. The ball cannoned into the middle and the off stump. And Etienne is gone. Bowl by Henry for 4, 110 for the loss of 4.
Well, Etienne didn't hear. She just kept on swinging. And I think that one probably she closed her eyes and swung because I don't think she was anywhere near the delivery. Delivery that was pitched up, it was straight, and she missed, and Henry hit the stump. So she's gone.
110 for the loss of 4 wickets. And those back in the pavilion, Rachel Francis, she made 4. Affie Fletcher, 35. Putting together a very good partnership of 67 with Nero. Then Peters was run out for 6. And Etienne bowled by Henry for 4. Those are the wickets back in the pavilion as the new batsman make her way into the middle. English language, such a beautiful language. A lady is batting and then the new batsman comes out. It's an acceptable term in cricket, just like the word of God says, and God made man.
I said batsman is universal.
That's right, exactly. So just in case you see a lady walking out and we're saying batsman, don't kill us. It's an accepted, it's a universal language in this game of cricket. And that's Crafton. That's right. She is out in the middle. She's doing a little bit repair job to the gloves. And she's from St. Lucia. Well, Pastor Matthew Kisoon says she's from St. Lucia, 20 years old. We're not going to doubt the pastor. Here is Henry, comes in, bowls to Crafton, pitched up, drives off the outer portion of the bat, over the top of backward point, and away to the boundary for 4. Crafton opens her account with a boundary. The score is 114 for the loss of 4.
Well, that was pitched up, and it was pitched up wide outside the off stump. She had the width. She went at it and went at it very hard indeed. And it went over backward point, and she got 4 runs for it.
Yes, and good-looking boundary to Crafton. Here is Henry once again, round the wicket, comes in, bowls to Crafton. She's swinging. It's in the air. It's going to fall safe. Comes down towards Todman. She loses the bat. They're coming through. She's got to be run out. She's gone. Well. Was there a second there? She lost the bat and still decided to come through. She was the one eyeing the fielder there, Clyde. She's gone, run out, 114 for 5.
Well, would you believe it? She's gone run out. And the umpire has signaled 1 short. So she got no runs for that. And she was out to run out. So that was very unnecessary. There was no way that was 2 runs. And she's the one that actually called for the second run as well. It wasn't Nero's fault. She ran to the far end and ran back. And the standing umpire signaled 1 short. So she got no run and was run out going for a second run.
So sorry for the young lady, Crafton, as she makes her way back to the pavilion. It's 114 for the loss of 5. You mentioned 1 short. I was told by the late, great Tony Koja. In Barbados, there was an umpire, they used to call him 1 short. Was the close of play, they got the single, and he didn't have a chance to signal any 1 short. And he decided that was the one that's going to be 1 short as well. Cricket, such a lovely game as the new batsman makes her way out into the middle. As we watch this delivery, tossed up, big swing, and has that gone into the stumps? Yes, she is bowled, and a very fine innings by Juliana Nero has come to an end. She has gone back to the pavilion for 60, a bowl by Stephanie Taylor. It's now 114 for 6.
Well, that was a delivery that was pitched for right up in the block hole. She was looking to heave it over mid-wicket, missed it, and it cannoned into the leg stump. So she's bowled for a well-played 6. She played some lovely shots and hit the ball very hard to all parts of the ground. So that was a lovely innings by Juliana Nero. And I think, when you think that the 4-day competition finished, she didn't get a lot of runs, she would be very happy with her innings here. I must be thinking, well, I'm now getting into form, and I've still got 4 matches to go.
Yes, so she faced 49 deliveries and struck 9 fours. Excellent innings in the circumstances, as the new batsman is taking her guard from the umpire. And that's Joseph. She's a tall, strong lady. She's left-handed. And Stephanie Taylor will begin to move into bowl to her. We are in over number 19 at the moment. So Stephanie Taylor comes around the wicket and bowls to Joseph. She's driving in the air down towards cover. Comes off the boundary and will send a return now. So Joseph is off the mark with 1. It's 115 now for the loss of 6.
Yeah, that was a delivery given generous here by Stephanie Taylor. Obviously, with the new batsman in, she was trying to tempt her. Got the outer half of the bat and it went into the cover for a single.
Yes, so they got the single. So she opens her account. And now we see extra cover is going to be posted out on the boundary. Mid-wicket remains on the boundary. Stephanie Taylor comes in. This is nicely tossed up down the track. And this is lifted in the air. It goes over the head of Stephanie Taylor. And they get the single. So 1 more to the score. That will take it now on to 116 for the loss of 6 wickets. And that's number 5. That's Homer, who is out in the non-striker's end. Down the leg side, and this is going to be called a wide, so an extra is added to it. It's now 117 for the loss of 6. And Stephanie Taylor, and just straying a little, she has been right on target. Comes in, bowls to the left-handed Joseph, and she gave herself a little bit of a room, and then realizing she wasn't to the pitch, just opens the face, guides it away to gully, can't score. Here's Stephanie Taylor, comes in, bowls to Joseph. This is short, outside the line of the off stump, and she is slapping this one away down towards cover. She gets the single, gets another run, moves on to 2. It's now 119 for the loss of 6 wickets. And Taylor continues to be very specific and careful, even at this stage of the game where they can't lose. She's ensuring that the professionalism is maintained. All her fielders are in the right position. This is tossed up and driven away, down through extra cover, beating the short extra cover, out towards wide long off. The return comes in and they will stay with 1. So she gets the single. That's the end of 19 overs. At the end of 19, it's 119 for the loss of 6.
Yeah, and Stephanie Taylor obviously realizing that she's going to win this game and win this game comfortable, giving the ball generous flight and encouraging the batsman to look for the drives through the offside. And just a word here on the Jamaican ground fielding. I think it's been wonderful. And when you look at Henry, especially in the outer field, she really covers a lot of ground. She works hard, and she's been feeling long off and long on and so on. She just continues to work. That last delivery was hit powerfully through extra cover, and she got around there very easily and got it back, and they only got a single. So she has done her job, and she looks to be a really good cricketer indeed.
Yes, she comes from the land of speed, and she's showing us that this is a big drive back up the track, and there is no run. Is that Watts back in strike? In the bowling department, bowling from the southern end of the ground. She's bowling the final over here now. Comes in and bowls. This is a delivery just outside. In fact, it cannons into the stump, and she's gone bowled. That's the right-handed homer. So the Jamaicans have gotten their 7th wicket. It's 119 for 7.
Well, that was pitched up and was fairly straight. Batsman was looking to hit it over mid-wicket, missed it, and was bowled middle stump.
Yes, and Homer's gone back to the pavilion for 2 runs. So Francis made 4, Fletcher 35. Was a good innings by the skipper. Peters made 6, Etienne 4, Crafton didn't score. Nero making a very valuable 61. Brilliant knock from her as we come down to the closing stages. A little bit disappointed how they are ending it here, the Windward Islands.
Well, not really when you actually know what happens with the team and how much good players they have in terms of batting. I think we said this from up front, that their batting is limited, and I think they're just showing that as well. And you're playing against a decent bowling attack.
Yes, I thought they should have been a little bit more careful when it comes to the closing stages, knowing that they can't win. This is cut away, the return comes in, and the keeper takes off the bails. But in fact, she's been given out, run out. Yes, the umpires raised the finger, and poor girl has to walk back to the pavilion, just making out who is it actually. That's Joseph? That's right, Joseph going back to the pavilion, run out. And there's a little discussion going on there. She's very slow in walking off. That's right, so that's the 8th wicket going down for
Well,
the
I think what
Windwards
happened
team.
there, she was guilty of not really putting dung in her bat. She just really ambled. The ball was hit out to cover. Stephanie Taylor picked up, and it wasn't even a good throw to the wicketkeeper either, because she had to tidy it up. It dropped in front of her. She had to tidy it up. Did a good job in picking it. I don't even think the wicketkeeper was very quick in taking off the bails either. That goes to show how slow Joseph was running, and she got run out. And she was adjudged to be run out by the umpire.
Yes, that's umpire Cowley Sarwell. She actually turned the back on the umpire, and then when she turned around, she saw the umpire walking
Dreaded
up.
finger.
That's right, the dreaded finger up there. So she has gone, and that's the 8th wicket going down. It's 119 for the loss of 8. And this has brought another left-hander to the crease. Just trying to... That's Noel, right. Noel has come out in the middle. And it's going to be Vanessa Watts to continue to the left-handed Noel. She comes in, bowls to Noel. This is short, and she is flirting with danger there. The ball just beating the outside edge of the bat and went through to the keeper. There is no run. Here is Watts once again. She begins to move in now, comes up and bowls. This is a big drive down towards long off, and she gets the single Noel. One more to the score. I will take it now to 120 for the lot. In fact, they've come back for 2. Just looking at the scoreboard, and they scampered the 2. That's good running between the wicket, Clyde.
Well, I think what happened, the return came in. Watts didn't pick it up cleanly, and it just went behind her. And the batsmen were aware of the situation, and they got 2 easy runs.
Nero awaits this delivery. She's driving in the air just over the head of the short extra cover. They've taken 1, and they'll go back and complete 2, and they're running for all their life as they collect 2 runs, and still she's looking for the 3rd there. Why on earth she wants to do that? That's the end of the over, and that's the end of the match. They've gotten 2 more runs. They will close their innings on 123 for the loss of 8 wickets. That means they have lost the game by 62 runs. Congratulations to Jamaica.
Yes, I think Jamaica show their worth. They show why they are the defending champions in this tournament in terms of the way how they approach their innings. McLean and Morgan batted pretty well, got that big partnership going, and they bowled well, and their fielding I thought was superb. They certainly defended at 185 very well, bowled pretty well. I think if Jamaica can get another spin into that squad, they would certainly cause some pressure on the other teams as well, because the spinners are good. Watts and Taylor are 2 top-class slow bowlers, and they just probably need to have another slow bowler in that team. Their medium pacers are decent. Henry is good, but I think they needed that support in terms of they needed another spinner in that team.
Yes, so I'll run through the scorecard for you. Francis was bowled by Henry for 4. Nero bowled by Taylor for 61. Brilliant innings by Nero. She faced just 49 deliveries and had 9 boundaries. Fletcher was Scott Henry of Nation for 35. Faced 35 balls, had 6 boundary too. Those were the highlights of the innings. Peters was run out for 6. Good throw by Stephanie Taylor. Etienne was bowled by Henry for 4. Crafton run out Morgan for 4. Homer was bowled by Watts for 2. And Onika Joseph was left not out on 2. In fact, Joseph Wright was run out for 2. and 13 was left not out on naught. Noel not out on 4. Their innings closed on 123 for the loss of 8. Just one extra, and that's fantastic for the Jamaican team. In the bowling department, Henry 4 overs, no maiden, 2 wickets for 20. Cohen 4 overs, no maiden, none for 28. Watts 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 15. Nation 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 31. Taylor 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 29. Thank you so much, John Ramsey. Clyde, comprehensive victory for the Jamaicans. Tomorrow we have Guyana taking on the Leewards. That game starts at 9 o'clock. Then Trinidad and Tobago take on the Windwards at 14 hours. Barbados versus Jamaica at 19 hours. We can expect 3 exciting matches tomorrow.
One hopes so, because I think that when you look at what has happened today, I think the games, especially the Guyana Trinidad and Tobago game, was a good one. The other 2 games probably pettered out into being easy victories for Barbados and Jamaica. And one only hopes that tomorrow that the teams could come out here and give some good account of themselves.
Yes, so final score in this game, Jamaica 185 for 2, Morgan 72 not out, McLean 56, Windward responding with 123 for the loss of 8. Final words from you, Clyde?
Tomorrow being Friday evening, one hopes that we'll see a few more spectators coming into the ground to support.
Yes, we can beg for that, please. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay a cent for parking. You don't have to pay a cent to get into the stand, and it can be a worthwhile occasion to come. So Jamaica defeating the Windward Islands by 62 runs. On behalf of the entire commentary panel, Clyde Butts, Matthew Kisoon, John Ramsing, this is Inderjeet Pasad saying thank you for joining us, and bye-bye until tomorrow evening when we'll have more ball-by-ball commentary in the Barbados versus Jamaica match. This is T20 Blaze from the National Stadium.